evening and welcome. John Connolly here for Youth Hockey Hub high atop center ice at Dakota in Prior Lake. I am joined by today's color analyst. He does need an introduction.
Today's guest analyst is believed to be the tallest player ever to suit up for the Edina Hornets. Not just a novelty act, he was a key contributor in his senior season on the 1988 state championship team. He was drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks and went on to a playing career at Merrimack College in Hockey East. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome Matt Henches.
Hello, John. How are you doing?
It's good to have you, Matt. So Matt's doing double duty. Matt's pulling double duty. He's got the nightcap tonight, which is Moorhead versus Edina. And had a little gap here, had to rearrange some things. And stepping in for Ace. Ace is going to come and do the Lakeville North game on Saturday. So gave Matt a chance to get here early, and we've got a good one here. So Prior Lake, this is their home rink, facing a team that is not too terribly far away, but occupies a different section out of Section 1AA, Lakeville North. Lakeville North went to the state tournament last year. So we've got an interview here. I had a chance to talk to Coach Eigner while they're going to do some introductions and maybe the national anthem. These are some thoughts about the Hockey for Life tournament from Lakeville North coach Trent Eigner.
We're just moments before the drop of the puck. I'm here with Coach Trent Eigner. So, Trent, we saw each other at the opener back over Thanksgiving weekend, and whatever you thought you had, I know things got upset beginning of the season with some injuries, and now I'm hearing you think you got all the players back. So where's the team status at this point of the season?
I would say, honestly, we're probably about 2 weeks away from being back to square one with a full lineup in terms of we're going to get some guys back, but I don't consider your first game back anything to be really excited about. It's going to take a couple weeks for the guys to get their feet under them. It does create an interesting dynamic with some healthy competition, kind of 8 games in for spots in the lineup and playing time, which is probably what we'll go through some growing pains the next couple of weeks to figure out what we got.
It's kind of hard to complain about the tournament and how strong the field is to the guy that put it together, because you're one of the guys that put the Hockey for Life together and has some say in it. So what a great field. We've had a couple great games so far. Lakeville North has 3 quality opponents this week, and super exciting. So how do you coach knowing that you're about 2 weeks away from being where you want to be personnel wise, but you got these top quality opponents and you've got to throw to the wolves basically for the 3 games this week?
Well, it's definitely sink or swim for some kids. I mean, that's the ice time they beg for, though, and then they get it and see what they can do with it. So it's, you just make the best of the situation that you can. We certainly have some guys that, 3 weeks from now will be far more experienced than they would have been having watched from the bench a little bit. So, I think we all look forward to getting healthy and creating a little more offense, which is what we lost due to injury. But by and large, I think that the guys that have stepped in there and performed have done an admirable job, worked hard done what we've asked. The field is super competitive, and I think that as a coach, that's what you want. I mean, if you can guarantee yourself 3 good matchups over the holidays, it's kind of a good litmus test before you get to the halfway point, so we're thrilled with that.
And let's hope it's not the only time you play 3 games back to back to back this year. Coach Eigner, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. So John Connolly here with Matt Henches. So we've had an interview with Coach Eigner that ran, introduced you through the bio, and now we look out across as the kids get their chin straps buckled. We got a great game ahead of us today, Matt.
Yes, I'm excited for it. I was kind of going through the stats here, and I see that they're pretty two evenly matched teams. Looking at the stats, Prior Lake has scored about 60% more than they've given up, and it looks like Lakeville's about 1-1. Given up a few more shots than they've had, and looks like same thing with Prior Lake. They've got about 60% more shots. I guess to be fair, I believe that Lakeville North has had a little tougher schedule, but records being very similar. Goaltending right around the 90% mark for both of them. Which is pretty good. Once you get into that 92 plus, you're really looking at a lot of W's. So we got some good goaltending and a very evenly matched team. Very excited for the game.
Speaking about goaltending, Prior Lake will ride Shop Bell. He plays all the games for them thus far. Going the other direction, Lakeville North has two they like, and it's Johnson in goal for Lakeville North. Johnson and Mayer. We see Johnson today. Maybe we'll see Mayer tomorrow. Puck is dropped, and we are off. Jump around. This is Judding. He chips this one off the sidewall and turned over to Smith. Smith entering the zone. Puck is turned over down into the corner. And the first one to arrive on the scene is Traxel. Traxel tries to break it out over on the far side, and we got a little bit of enthusiasm, something we didn't have in the first two games. Pretty good student section down in front of us, Matt.
We sure do, and that makes a big difference. When your fans come out to support you, you see them and you want to play a little better for them. You dig a little deeper.
About those earlier games, it was 6-3 Chaska in a surprise over Eden Prairie. They really looked very, very good. I'll say this, Chaska played as well as I thought they would this year. They were 4-5 entering the game with losses to teams like, I think it was Eveleth and Sartell shutting with a shot on goal, and they were beat by Buffalo as well. But no problems today for Chaska. They win 6-3. The second game just ended. It was a back and forth affair. St. Thomas 4-3 winners over Stillwater. In today's game, this is a breakout pass stretched up to Lakeville North. A lot of fluidity on the line chart, if you will, as some players that were expected to be key contributors were injured and missed some games. Oh, turned over in the defending end, and a shot comes there from Kimmis. But Lakeville North trying to get some lines found, and they think they're about 2 weeks away from really being 100%. First game back for A.J. Anello. He wears 22, and Griffin has been hurt. Annebeck is playing with a torn labrum. He's delaying surgery and going to try to play some hockey this year and just got through it. So should be an interesting one, and the type of game where we could get a great game here today, but both of these teams could be in a much different place come March. Heavy on the forecheck down low is Kahlberg, and broken out to the neutral zone. Chip and chase, a little bit of a effort move there from Schandorf. Matt, I'm not liking the black on red number. It's a little hard to make out that number for the Lakeville boys.
Even worse, you can't read the name. I see Prior Lake doesn't have any names, but yeah, you can't even read them. Might as well not even have them on the jersey.
It's tough. We'll do our best. So on retreat here is 23. Is that Connick? Who's coming up here? Yeah, that is Connick, and he's stood up and pushes the puck down, and on the forecheck strong, bringing it down low is Lebens. Turned over behind the goal line, and it's very evident that they're getting deep into the line chart early here for Coach Annebeck, trying to make sure that everybody's going hard, really giving everybody a chance to get those legs operating early in the game.
Not a bad move, if you ask me. Try to use your whole line.
Yeah, this one banks off the end wall and goes for an icing call. Interesting lineup here. I know talking to the coaches really before any of the games were played, they said, we feel our top line is as good as anyone's. That's Spencer Schneider centered by Smith and Griffin on the right side. Lo and behold, Griffin goes down. He's injured in that first tournament. So they're trying to get that unit put back together. Smith was playing for Lakeville South last year. This year he's at Lakeville North. And Schneider is the lone committed player. He's college committed to Bowling Green. That pipeline from Lakeville North feeding into Bowling Green still strong. Speltz in the slot, and they just missed this one. It slides under his stick. First good scoring chance of the game is off the stick of Speltz, but he was sure in the right spot, Matt.
Sure was. You don't want to give up a lot of those odd man rushes. That's what this game's all about, is creating odd man rushes, and you got to get the shot, though.
I like seeing this one. It's A.J. Anello, his first game of the year. A.J. was our host for a couple player profiles. We'll run one of those between periods today with Spencer Schneider. Wanted to reach out to all the hurt players, try to include them. Players like Dane Stoyanoff and trying to think who else has stood up. Carson Jones. Some of the players that aren't playing have done a good job hosting. And Anello was in a fluke accident at school just before the season started. So it's A.J. Anello's first game. He's a senior for Lakeville North, making his debut this season. He wears 22.
Well, I was talking to Ace right before the game, kind of asking him who I should be looking for. He says that Spencer is a very special player, and he's the one you got to watch. Has a lot of points this year.
Matt, what's peculiar about it, Ace and I were doing the game from the opener, and he scored on a wrist shot, really a dead shot. In our era, we're a little bit older. Right. You learn the wrist shot, and boom goes the dynamite. It's into the back of the net, scored down low. 25 is Griffin. Griffin might be dinged up, but Griffin tallies this one. He puts Lakeville North on the board just 3 minutes, 26 seconds in.
Excellent puck movement there. And Griffin is buried on the lower right.
So, Matt.
There we go. Is that from Chicago? Where's that from?
I travel with my own goal horn. I've got different ones. That one just says, hey. I've got Canada, Woo, O, Devils, and Islanders. Well, that one just says, hey. But anyway, we've got a 1-0 game, and listen for the assist here. Okay, 25 from 8 and 3. It's Griffin from Smith and Davidson. Griffin from Smith and Davidson. That puts the Panthers up 1-0 on Prior Lake. And we had a similar situation in the first game. There was an early goal scored by Chaska, but Eden Prairie answered right back. Let's see what Prior Lake comes back with. This one's turned over in the direction of Schandorf, but second time's a charm, and they managed to get the breakout. Rink-wide pass. This is Kimmis. Kimmis with a shot. This one gets deflected down behind the end line, and the first one to arrive on the scene is Munson. I'll talk a lot about him today. You mentioned you asked Ace for some thoughts about this team. I have some of my own, having seen them play a couple times, and really some promising players wearing red today. Strong on the forecheck is Speltz. Plays this one back to the blue line. It's Magnuson. Magnuson's shot goes just wide, and bringing it out to the neutral zone. This is at 17. Let's see. Got my line chart all cut up with some guys moving around. That may have been Munson. Stretch pass all the way up onto the stick of Schneider. Schneider comes over and makes a pass onto the stick of Griffin. Griffin's got one and almost two. Big save there by Champbell.
Yeah, speaking of Munson, we kind of went down the lineup with Ace, and it's kind of funny because we both basically told me every guy was good. So, but he really pointed out we pointed out Munson, but he also pointed out that sophomore crew there of Davidson and Gasper, and he said they're really nice players. So I'm really interested to watch them today.
So they're stocked on the blue line for years to come with 3 sophomores in the top 3 pair of defense, and a little bit senior laden with their scores. I was talking to you earlier about Schneider and Matt. We come from an era, that one goes just over the crossbar. We come from an era where it was hard to shoot outdoors, pushing the snow when you shot, and we had those heavy wood sticks. So, we learned the wrist shot was kind of the foundation, and then as you got older, maybe there was a slap shot, but it was kind of hard to get the stick to work in your favor. So snappers, you really had to be pretty old, getting to be upper teenagers before that was even a thought. Now today, the kids learn the wrister and quickly a snapper, and there is no slap shot anymore. There's one-timers, but, kids coming up ice, very seldom at high levels of play do you see a slapper. Schneider lit the lamp on a major laser top corner from Bloomington with a wrist shot, and I've never seen anybody take a wrist shot for a decade.
Yeah, well, it's changed a lot, and I think that's something kind of started changing probably early 90s when people realized. In the early 90s, you got to understand, in college, the big thing was to go down and block shots. So you didn't take the big slapper. You had to start to adjust and start taking wrist shots. And people realized you could shoot it quicker, just get it on the net quick.
This is broken out quickly off the face-off by Lakeville. They get it on the stick of Griffin. Griffin's got the lone goal. 1-0 the score so far. It's a chip and chase. He goes off for the line change. On retreat, back behind his goal line is Emmerich. Emmerich, puck turned over, however, strong on the forecheck for the Panthers. And this one comes back to the blue line where it's kept in by DuPont. Prior Lake chipping it out to neutral onto the stick of Kahlberg. He's across the red line, so he throws this one the length of the ice. Just happens to be on goal. So Matt, it's a good matchup here. You're familiar with this side of town, living in Apple Valley. These two teams, they're both suburban South Conference, right?
Yeah, we were in the same conference, me being an Apple Valley guy, and yeah, I'm familiar with a lot of the sophomores. I have a son that's a 9th grader, so we've gone up and played against a lot of them. So yeah, I'm familiar with a bunch of them. And
so about that conference, the blemish that really causes people to pause and wonder if Lakeville North might be any good is they lost 6-0 to Egan.
Right.
And, you know, Johnny Myers,
Johnny
I know it's a
Myers,
player that
yeah.
you really like. But, you know, a 6-0 loss, one of the things you get to this point in the season, and most teams have one kind of what I'd call maybe an oddball result, like, I don't know. And as long as that one's not indicative, St. Thomas is an example. They just looked very good over Stillwater. The game before, they laid an egg and really struggled against Hill Murray. You obviously have Chaska was outstanding today, and then they lose to you know, some teams like Sartell that you wouldn't think they would. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to find out. Is 6-0 indicative of this Lakeville North team? I talked to Coach Annebeck, one of the assistant coaches. He says it's not. He said that, you know, a couple things, kind of a perfect storm, if you will, went against them. And, you know, we'll see what happens in this one. Out to the neutral zone is Judding. Judding's going to be exciting every time he gets the puck. Fires a shot, gets tipped up into the glass and over into the netting.
Well, going back to that, losing 6-0, that happens. I mean, that happens with good teams, and it's, you know what, if you're going to lose, what's the difference if you lose 6-0 or 1-0? You get it out of your system and you regroup, and you know, it gives the coach an excuse to skate the heck out of you the next practice, the next week even. So,
Matt, it happens in tennis because you play till 6. I don't know that it happens in hockey. It better not happen. No. So anyway, there's Pearson. Pearson with a stretch pass doesn't quite connect, goes the length of the ice. So you mentioned you had a chance to go through the roster, talk about the players on Lakeville North. I announced the games from the opener a month ago, and I knew they had a nice sophomore core. Davison and Gasparini coming up off the Bantam team. Munson is a returning varsity player, also a 10th grader. I learned in the intervening month his father was a baseball player at the University of Minnesota when I was a student there, a player from Bloomington Jefferson. And anyway, here's a player kind of similar to the Gates story where, you know, you got a player father that's a successful athlete in a different sport. And, you know, now you've got the son being in Minnesota playing hockey. And Munson's a great player. So he's a fun one to watch. We'll keep an eye on him. Griffin doesn't turn the puck. It doesn't turn the puck out to the neutral zone. And I don't know, Matt, did Cable think he needed to tag up or what happened there?
yeah, I think he did. I think, you know, well, that's the beauty of this game, and going to the tag up. It makes the game so much better. And sometimes these guys are just so used to it, if they don't know for sure, they just go tag up.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I thought he'd play the puck, and I didn't see the linesman with his arm up. 9:50 remains. It's early going here, but we do have a goal on the board. That one was scored by Griffin. Lakeville North leads 1-0. So this is the tradition in the park, or no, that's the other tournament. This is the tradition Hockey for Life, and we do have a sponsor. Next time we get to a face-off, I'll play a quick word from our sponsor. And yeah, back to the action here. Little dipsy angle, trying to bring it in wide is Kahlberg. He leaves this one onto the stick. Trying to figure out 6 is 16. That's Traxel. This one rings the boards, played back to the blue line to Magnuson. Magnuson's shot goes just wide and comes off the end. Well, we've got a penalty upcoming. Delayed penalty is going against Prior Lake, and that's going to turn the puck over onto the stick. We get our stoppage, and it's going to be a Lakeville North power play.
Yeah, Lakeville North has got a pretty good power play, about 25%. You know, pretty good. Prior Lake's usually on the receiving end of having power plays. Looks like they have 35, giving them up about 25. Pretty good power play right around the 20-21. But they kill penalties very well at about 80%. So it'll be interesting to see here. They're pretty evenly matched here.
Tradition Companies is your one-stop shop for all your home and financing needs. From construction, land development, new home builders, mortgages, banking, and wealth management services, the Tradition family of companies has the solution for you. For more information on everything Tradition Companies has to offer, visit traditionco.com. That's traditionco.com.
Can never get enough Tradition Companies, right, Matt? It's just remarkable what big supporters and advocates of youth and high school hockey they are in the Twin City area. So thanks to Tradition and companies like them stepping up. I don't know that anybody does more than Tradition. Back to the action here. We've got 90 seconds left in this man advantage. Still first half of the first period. Power play opportunity for the Panthers, and played over by Munson onto the stick of Schneider, and this one gets deflected before it arrives on the goal. Smith plays a short pass, and it hits a stick and gets deflected out to the neutral zone. They tried to play this one back to Schneider at the blue line, and everybody tags up. He gains the zone and whips a wrister in behind the goal line. And big hit in front of the players, or in front of the students, and we got our student section on the feet.
I gotta tell you what I like about Prior Lake is they're chasing a little bit in the defensive zone. They're not standing in just a tight box and letting them pass it around until they get their shot. They're making them, you know, so you see the back, they attack, and I like that. I like the little bit more aggressive penalty kill.
Yeah, the aggressive box is awesome until you give up the goal, and then you wonder, should we play that tight box? But play continues. Still 40 seconds to go on the man advantage. Turnover down low, and oh boy, that's a shot from Schneider that goes up over the crossbar. And we'll get a stoppage of play. Still 37 seconds left in this power play.
Well, you got to remember, these guys aren't NHLers, and they're not even Division I. Well, some of them will be eventually, but you know what? You put time, you put pressure on, you take time away, you put pressure on guys. They panic and give the puck up just like anybody else.
Face-off comes to the left of Chappelle. This one rings out and sneaks just across the blue line. Everybody from the Panthers tags up, and that allows Prior Lake to work on their breakout. Oh, got caught in the line change. It actually goes the length of the ice, and with 20 seconds left, they're almost back to full strength. Just 20 seconds to go on the kill. Down along the end line, it's Beatty. Beatty's an exciting sophomore. You and I talked about the game beforehand, and you mentioned what a dominant youth player he was. Now that he's at the high school level, you know, he's really hounding here on that aggressive penalty kill like you had mentioned.
Well, we played against Beatty in a championship in squirts. He scored 3 seconds into the game. That's how I remember him. He was very explosive.
Yeah, so, you know, drawing back, I'd ask you if there's anything that you could equate similar in your high school career, but I think it was your junior year at the state tournament. Wasn't it Ken Jernander off the opening faceoff 3 seconds in? You know, I thought Tom Chorsky was the fastest guy I ever saw in high school. He'll be doing color for 2 of these games. And then when I watched you guys at the state tournament that year, I saw Jernander go by, and I'm like, you know what? He's as fast as Chorsky.
Well,
so
I didn't even see him. We saw the puck come off the back. He was a heck of a player, as everybody knows.
Yeah, but you guys went back to the state tournament the following year, brought home the state title, and the rest is history. They never forget you in Edina if you can win the state title. You're part of that 88 team. Back to the action here. Chipped out to the neutral zone. Regroup opportunity for Winter. He throws it back in and onto the stick of Davidson. Davidson really using a puck possession game, trying to set up some, you know, passing movements in their own end, not trying to just chip it out and go retrieve it. We'll see how that works as the game progresses. Down goes heavy on the forecheck is Lindholm, and he bounces back to his feet and delivers a little shoulder there. It's a breakout opportunity left side. This is Ennebeck. Good to see Ennebeck out there. He's torn a labrum and turned over to Anello, and Anello with a big shot and a save by Chappelle.
Well, you're speaking about puck possession on the play there, and I'm a big puck possession guy. I mean, sometimes it isn't great to watch, especially if your team's having a little tough time holding it, but I think if you stick with it, it pays off in the long run as opposed to chipping and dumping.
You know, the next game's one I think you'll enjoy working with me because Edina had a speed team last year, a lot of vertical stretches. Oh, that one somehow, seeing eye puck, finds its way into the back of the net. Strange goal there, but nonetheless, Lakeville now leads 2-0.
The shots on ice can be really tricky once in a while. These guys are looking for about 6 inches off the ice, and you put it right on the ice, they're not ready for it.
Comes from Munson on the point. I believe it's going to be Munson making this one 2-0. Lakeville over Prior Lake. Munson with the goal. We'll listen for the assist when the public address reads that off. So yeah, Matt, you know, you talk puck possession. Our nightcap tonight, we've got 4 games today. Edina plays a much different style than they did last year. They seem to want to go the whole shift and never have the puck off their stick. A little different than last year, maybe trying to get up ice and transition.
When you have the fastest skater in high school hockey, maybe, honestly, an NHL speed, you want to do a lot of chipping, and I think Jungles used to do a lot of chipping off the glass for him, didn't he?
Yeah, out to Walker. So we must have a different public address announcer. I was waiting for him to reread the names, and I didn't hear the assist on that. Griffin, he goes on a little bit of a guitar solo here. Gets around 2 players, and now he gains the zone, chips it down to the end line. And on retreat, it's Cable. Laz has moved up from Texas a few years ago. Got a friend of mine down there that is a friend of his named Kyle Russell. The Russell family, good friends of mine, and Cable is someone they know from his Dallas days, and I think he's been in the Twin Cities for about 5 years. Interesting, Matt, you know, players routinely coming from other parts of the country. It was a novelty back in your high school days that somebody might move in from a warm weather climate. Right. Today, you know, you have stories like that in all these communities. On the forecheck, it's Beatty gets possession of it, tries to bring it over to his forehand, but when he pulled it into that slot area, he couldn't quite keep it on his stick to get the shot off. Working the other direction. Here's Schneider. Schneider with that shot, and it's big shot saved by Chappelle. We get a cover.
Well, going back to that, back in the 80s, we actually had a few that came from the 3.
So 1986, number 1 entering the sections. You had 2 two players for California that had been on Edina's team for 3 years and joining him for senior year, goaltender who all three wound up playing Division I college hockey, but that was rare back then. That was rare.
It was.
You know, like Eddie from Woodbury a few years ago. I know he's from a different hockey market. I'm trying to think of some of the rest that have come to the Twin Cities. Got players like Jet Lee Swift on Minnetonka's team, and he's a Florida player, another Florida player at St. Cloud Cathedral, and what's his name? Jackson Savoy. So, all right, well, let's focus on this game for a little bit here, Matt. We've seen enough now to get the initial tone,
right,
and I don't think we've had a lot of, penalties, just the one, and then that led to a goal here. It's 2-0. What does Prior Lake need to do to get the next one? They really don't want to fall down 3.
Well, they need the next one. There's no question about it. But they just keep doing what you're doing. Don't panic. Get the shot right here. You got to have a shot.
Tushy with the tip opportunity right onto the stick of Green, but it goes just wide. Oh, shorthand. Interesting sequence there. They're trying to connect on passes in their own end. And Lakeville, but when the pass didn't connect, the puck didn't clear the zone. And, there's kind of a 3-foot rule for some coaches. When you get to within 3 feet of the blue line, the puck needs to get out. And, this is what happens. They're pinned back in their own end. And a big
shot.
clap bomber, big rocket from the point. That's right side is Cable. Cable goes back to pick this one up. He's got pretty good hockey here. He's got his head up and finds a stretch pass onto the stick of Lindholm, who ticks it down the length of the ice, and they go to finish a line change. Circling back in his own end, trying to get the puck onto his stick is Hansen. They bring it up on the near wall. Hansen up ahead to Ennebeck, and Ennebeck out there with Connick and Anello. Again, it's almost a mash unit between Ennebeck and Anello with the injuries they've had to start this season. So, Matt, we've got a bunch of games here this week, and I'm trying to go back into your era. You guys would have played at the Met Center probably for a Christmas tournament.
Yeah, we get the Met Center for a Christmas tournament, and then we usually get it for regionals. And back in those kind of the heyday in the mid-'80s, there, late '80s, we could draw pretty well for sections. Even in the semis, I think we get around. They throw a couple games in there at night, and you'd still get around 10, 12,000. And then the finals, you get up around 15 with some rotating crowd. So, yeah, the Met was fantastic for high school hockey back in the '80s.
It's interesting, that tournament we're talking about. This is the top high school event this year. It had been the Schwann Cup, but the teams have left for both Tradition in the Park and then this Tradition Hockey for Life. Both of those are great tournaments, and this probably might be a shade better. But going back, there was a strong program, private school in St. Paul, Hill Murray, going back to the early 80s. They had that one undefeated season, won the state championship. Edina won in 82 and 84. And Edina never played Hill, and people were just clamoring for that game. Athletic director Bud Bierkin put it together in that first year. Even at the Christmas holiday break, you were into the upper bowl at Met Center. It was over 10,000 people there to watch those games, and that was really impressive. This is kind of, many iterations and different things that have happened over the years, but, here we are, 30 plus years later, and this might be the modern iteration of that. And crowds are a little different. We're not going to see those types of numbers, but there's always been in our lifetime, some pretty good holiday hockey being played in Minnesota.
And really the hockey's just as good. It's actually better, but just in good in context, it's just more players, So even though if you lose some of these great players to Tier 1 and some other juniors and stuff, it's still great hockey because just the numbers are so much more. And
well, in Judding, we're watching a player today, 19 for Prior Lake, through 8 games this year, 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points. He's got every option in the world. He could have gone and done anything that he wanted to do, chose to play here. And, I think he's worn the USA sweater in some of the summer events. And, it's just really remarkable how good some of the players are in Minnesota when there's other options out there, and kids are choosing this over everything. So awesome. Out to the neutral zone. Gasparini plays this one over to his defensive partner, Davidson. I'm sorry, that's Pearson. Chipped out to the neutral zone, and a little bit of a scrum along the wall, and eventually the puck pops back into the Prior Lake end, and Cable's going to be the first one to arrive on the scene. He fights off one check, fights off the second one, makes a nice breakout pass up the boards to Kahlberg over to Beatty, and Beatty with a shot. This one steered aside by Johnson in goal. out to the neutral zone. It's a one-on-one opportunity. Waiting for some help in the form of a trailer is Kranz there to help out, and the shot goes just wide. I think it was Schandorf with the shot. Schandorf up to Kranz. Kranz in the corner, plays this one out into the slot, nobody home. That's why it's stolen by Kimmis. Kimmis out to the neutral zone, length of the ice. It's going to go waved off icing, however. Not sure why, and Pearson goes back behind his goal looking for a breakout path. Stretch pass doesn't quite connect, and it's a loose puck left out in the neutral zone. Chipped in by Green, and on retreat, Pearson's going to get another opportunity to show us his breakout skills. Takes it in front of the benches, rink wide all the way out. Stretch out to Connick. He tries to get around the defender. Can't quite work his way around Emmerich, and Emmerich does a nice job winning that puck battle. So, Matt, 1 minute to go in this one. 2-0 is your score. A goal at this point, either way, would really give us a, hooking the call. Really give us a different tone as we enter into the second period.
Well, it's with the exception of that little hook there, it's been a very clean game. And I got to tell you that I'm a big fan of staying out of the penalty box. Kind of like throwing interceptions. You want to be on the right side of power plays and penalty kills. And if you are, you win more games. And that's what's kind of been my theory. And that was kind of a Dyna's secret back in the 80s. Stay out of the box, stay out of the box. You win more games than you lose.
So, Matt, you're 6'7" without shoes. I always said if you played basketball, you'd have been listed at 6'9" in high school or college if that was your sport. And, stand out of the box. That meant you couldn't touch anybody because if you arrive, there's a head contact, there's an elbow. Even if you crouch, you're going to catch someone high. So staying out of the box a lot of times, it can be difficult. But, you of all people, that means maybe you can't go hit somebody. Working around the perimeter, Beatty plays this one out top the track. So back to Beatty. Beatty's trying to find a path and get inside this triangle. Got an interesting, the box is tilted, Matt. We've got a diamond PK here so far for the Lakeville North Panthers. Down low to the end wall is Cashmark. Cashmark plays this one over to the corner and back out to the top.
Oh, there it is.
They're working it to Judding. Judding with a pass, and little give and go there. Did you see that? He made the pass, and then he was sneaking in. Oh, they try to work this one over weak side to Speltz right as the period expires. So, folks, that's going to do it for the first period. We've got a great second period, first to second period intermission. This is Mike Snee of College Hockey Inc. You've probably seen their infographics. Maybe you've heard the name. I know you've said, I don't know why we have a College Hockey Inc., and I don't know exactly what College Hockey Inc. does. Mike Snee is going to answer all those questions for you. Second period, we're going to have interviews with Spencer Schneider, and then kind of off the board here, I've got one we're going to play from a player who scored the biggest goal in Minnetonka history. Who was that, Matt? Biggest goal in school history. Teddy Lagerbach section finals, 3 seconds to go to force overtime. So Schneider, that's our second to third period guest. So John Conley here with Matt Henches through one. It's 2-0, Lakeville leading Prior Lake. I'm going to kick it over to Justin here, our producer. He is going to run our interview with Mike Snee. We'll be back in about 12 minutes. Thanks for watching. I'm John Conley here in St. Paul at the Minnesota Wild offices, meeting with Mike Snee.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me on today.
Mike is the grand poobah. He is the czar.
You read that on my business card, didn't you?
Yes. College Hockey Inc.
There we go.
I've got a visitor's badge. Yeah. I can go anywhere in the building until they figure out that I probably shouldn't be going anywhere in the building. But College Hockey Inc., I think a lot of people may have some familiarity in that they've heard of it. They've maybe seen the logo once before.
Yep.
Probably, maybe they don't know it was you that created it, but you might have seen some of those great infographics that you put out. Yeah. Those are pretty cool. But why don't you just begin by telling people College Hockey is it?
We're a 3-person nonprofit. I would call it a college hockey advocacy organization. We're 8 years old. We were created with a grant from USA Hockey. College hockey is pretty unique relative to other NCAA sports. 3 main ways. One is for the most part, outside of the creation of the Big Ten years ago, it's played in hockey-specific conferences only. So there are some challenges that's created. Number 2, it's played by a wide variety of schools. large schools like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, but also schools as small as D3 schools where hockey is its only Division I sport at that particular school. And then third, and probably the biggest one, unlike a basketball or a football or a baseball, there are many different places a player can play, and some of those are categorized as professional by the NCAA, and also it occurs at a younger age. So in some cases, players as young as 15 and frequently as young as 16 are losing their amateur eligibility. And that was done occasionally or frequently in a cloud of like not enough information when they made their decision. So our organization was started in part to ensure that young players, young aspiring players, and people that influence them have all the information they need about college hockey.
So great, just to summarize, there's a lot there. So it was created, funded by USA Hockey,
yes,
to help as an advocacy group with a lot of education. But I know you mentioned the sports. I don't know about college football and college basketball. Like we've got the volleyball Final Four here in the Twin Cities this week. Do other sports have anything similar to this at all?
To the best of my knowledge, no. So perhaps there is, I'm just not aware of it, but no. And for that reason, I can understand it, because they're, you know, every 17-year-old aspiring volleyball player is eligible as an amateur. Now, maybe academically, I don't know, but from an amateur status, there isn't anything that they're doing, whether they're playing on this club or that high school team or whatever it might be, that's compromising their amateur status. And as far as I know, that's the case with the other sports, but not the case with hockey. And I should note that since we started 8 years ago, we've also added 2 other important components, one of which is we view ourselves as the PR department for all of college hockey. So hopefully you've seen an increase in terms of just coverage of college hockey in general because of that. And then the third piece, which is very exciting, is we have taken on the challenge of trying to grow the sport and have more schools add hockey. Essentially use Penn State and the success they had as a blueprint. We've had some initial success with Arizona State. That was started out as one of our projects, and we've got some momentum at a few other schools too. So we do more than just what we initially started to do. And in essence, that's why I would like to say we're an advocacy organization for college hockey.
Minnesota's hockey culture is one of, if not the best in America. So it's only fitting that one of the best hockey camps in the world is right here in Nisswa.
This is Dan Germanson. Welcome to Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer based in Nisswa, Minnesota in the beautiful Brainerd Lakes area. At MHC, there is a culture that breeds success. We offer resident and day camps for boys and girls of all ages from mites to NHL, 9 weeks throughout the summer.
We've had probably 700 NHLers come through here.
We have 32 hockey-related activities per week. Over the years, we have had close to 400 professional players come through our camp, including Division I, Stanley Cup, and Olympic champions.
I'm a little surprised that this camp is still here. To be honest with you, we thought it would be about a 20-year run, and it actually got better.
Visit our website at mnhockeycamps.com. Registration opens January 1st for 2019.
So that's great. So you're not working against the hockey-specific conferences that you mentioned. You're working in concert with them.
Yes.
You're not working in butting heads with the NCAA. You're working with them, and you're funded by USA Hockey. So I give USA Hockey my $40 when I sign up. They do a lot with it. They do a lot of great stuff. But
coaching, education, and
what's their incentive to fund something like this? Why did this come to be? What is their reason?
And I should note too that the support also comes from the NHL. So the NHL gives a grant to USA Hockey, a bigger grant, with the intent of grow hockey in our country, grow hockey in the United States. That grant feeds a number of different things, one of which is College Hockey Inc. So the notion of College Hockey Inc., and I like to boil it down this way, is think of the impact that college basketball has on the sport of basketball. Think of the impact that college football has on the sport of football. Okay, we want college hockey to have that same impact on hockey. And it certainly does in Minnesota, the Michigan area, up in North Dakota, New England, a few areas like that. But as hockey has grown in this country, both in terms of participation, we've got players playing everywhere. You mentioned your son plays down in Florida, and NHL teams. We have NHL teams in Nashville, Las Vegas, soon in Seattle, in new hockey areas. College hockey really hasn't followed suit.
Yeah, you know, it was early 80s. Northern Arizona, Division
US
International in San Diego.
Yeah.
So we had 2 Sun Belt teams, and up until recently, Division I and Division III, NCAA, only one in Huntsville, and more recently adding Arizona State, so we're at 2. So I always think it's a fun discussion, maybe a topic for another day.
Well,
what's the next
put it this
school,
way,
right?
our long-term goal is someday we want to have, let's say, USC and UCLA battling this weekend in a big bitter 2-game series. Maybe Stanford's playing Cal, and up the coast we got Washington playing Oregon with the Pac-12 title on the line. We want that to happen. And if it does happen, if it gets to that point, there will be a lot of people falling in love with hockey because they went to an Oregon Ducks game or because they went to a Stanford Cardinal game. So we need college hockey, as I like to say, we need it to, you know, do its part and pull on the rope, like the NHL has done, and like USA Hockey, growing the sport from a participation standpoint and from a professional standpoint, border to border, coast to coast. We need college hockey to try to grow border to border, coast to coast.
Well, I think you've done a great job explaining to our viewers what college hockey is, why it was started, and some of the things that you work on a daily basis. So just maybe close with a fun story about College Hockey Inc., the role of college hockey, the great state of hockey that we're standing in right now. You've got a million of them, but maybe just share one of those, because there's probably some fun stuff that you encounter in your job.
Well, the sport's filled with wonderful people. I think that's the best part about it. I don't know if it's fun is the right word. But just being able to be part of a game that, as I like, I guess what I've concluded is the sport isn't simple to get involved in. Okay, it requires a unique facility. It requires a skill other than running. It can be an intimidating sport for somebody that has never been involved in it before. And whereas if you think of like basketball, every school has a gym.
Very few barriers to entry.
Base. Exactly. Yeah. It's like completely two different stories. So what I believe happens is people that get involved in hockey, and the two of us being two of them, you love it, first of all, because it is a great sport, fun to play, fun to watch, and then you feel like you're a steward for it. So I enjoy being part of a group of people, all of whom want to grow the game, and want to leave the campsite better than when they got there. And I'm also involved in a few other sports through my children and stuff, and love other sports. And I don't feel that stewardship as much, because I think there's this attitude that, well, that sport doesn't need me to contribute because it's going to go on with or without me. Where I think everybody involved in hockey, whether you're, Wayne Gretzky, or whether you're, coaching a squirt team somewhere in northern Minnesota, you all feel like you're important to the game, and that if you weren't there, the game would be a little worse off if you weren't doing your part. So I don't know if that qualifies as fun, but I've noticed that, I feel that, and I'm happy and excited to be part of that.
So he's Mike Snee, doing a lot of great stuff with College County. Thanks.
We've got a overhanging penalty situation, just what the doctor ordered. Lakers need some power play time.
Well, this is the time. They've got to get it going here, and this is a great way to do it. got a power play, and maybe Lakeville North will come out a little slow, sitting in there, and they just got to jump on it and get one here.
So going from a sample size of 1, but on that first power play, it looked like they're trying to run things through Beatty and maybe spring Jutting as a trigger man to get him to take a shot. We'll see if they're able to do something like that here. They desperately need to get one on the board. They trail 2-0. So I hope everybody now knows a little bit more about College Hockey Inc. Had our interview with Mike Snee. The interview between the Edina Moorhead game coming up later, Matt, is part 1 of a 2-part with your high school teammate, Ben Hankinson.
Well, that's always a fun interview with him, so it'll be interesting to hear that one.
You know, he's just the gift that keeps on giving. I set up an interview with Chris McAlpine, as a friend of his and business partner, and there are little shenanigans going on in the background when Ben just couldn't sit still. So anyway, that's coming up. Also, if you see a McAlpine interview, Ben makes a unscheduled cameo in that one.
Well, it's the least boring person in the world.
Good friend of both of ours. So play continues. We've got a minute to go in the power play. Prior Lake has gained the zone. They play this one to Jutting. He circles out top with a shot, looking for a tip or deflection. Big rebound, and point blank scoring chance there. Speltz was Johnny on the spot, but a couple big saves by Johnson. And play continues. It's 40 seconds to go in this man advantage. Beatty plays this one out top to Traxel, back to Beatty, back to Traxel.
There it is.
It's a little Sutton and Youngblood game going there between those two. And overlapping is Jutting. Jutting goes on a guitar solo. And point blank shot that gets steered aside. Nice save there by Johnson. Jutting plays this one down low and out to Speltz. Speltz with a shot. Another chance. Crack at it. And 2 big saves there. I think it's 4 in the last 30 seconds here by our goaltender Johnson. Still 10 seconds to go in this man advantage. Speltz fans on it, but it winds up retrieving it out to the slot and right onto the stick of Cashmark. Big save there. And they say your best penalty killer is your goaltender. Good example there.
Well, you know, you got to like the chances they got there. So, you know what? They might not have scored, but the patience was wonderful with Prior Lake. They're getting their chances, and they probably had, 3-4 shots there. So, yeah, just stay patient, and it'll happen.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got 15 minutes, 40 seconds. That penalty has expired, both teams full strength. Prior Lake's unable to get the goal, but on the other side, the boys in red breathing easy. They feel pretty good. They still have a 2-goal lead and a successful kill of that penalty. Nice scoring chance there. They got a nice pass over to Green. Kind of found him lurking into the white space on the weak side, and Green got a good shot off. Another big save by Johnson. Johnson's played very well thus far. Stepping into the face-off circle is Green. Wins the draw cleanly, plays this one nicely over to Lindholm. Now it's behind the end line, and losing his footing is Tushy, but he bounces right back up, and now he fights a board battle, pops out with it onto his stick, and surveys the situation, throws a shot toward the goal, and looking for a tip there off of Lindholm. Sails right by him off to the sidewall, and now it's Shandorf trying to work a breakout. He played this one back to Pearson. Pearson with a counter move. He turned right into the forechecking Tushy, and puck predictably turns over. Prior Lake's heavy on the forecheck. Played back to the point to Winter. Winter's almost your height, Matt.
What is he? About 6'5"?
I think he's about 6'5" in the not the program. The program doesn't have height and weights, but on the roster I saw at the Hockey Hub. I know you were always listed at a height that got you angry when Joe Sensor thought you weighed 116 pounds or something as an 11th grader.
Well, that was a little prank that somebody played on me, and it was funny. But, yeah, I used to lie about my height. I used to say I was shorter than I was because they frowned on the 6'7" guy in those days, so I put it down to 6'4", 6'5", but yeah, I'm actually 6'7", and shrinking.
I've always told people, going back to that era, Matt, you played really right before the Hatchers, like when the Hatcher, Kevin and Darian came through. Being tall was kind of cool, and certainly, modern era, you've got guys, whether it's John Scott or, why am I drawing a blank? The Bruin, Zdeno Chara, but in your era, there was this thought that you would just be too tall to be effective. It's good scoring chance there. It goes off the skate boot of Griffin and played back to the point, but unable to keep it in. Over on that right side is Davidson. Davidson on retreat, and Matt, he lost
an edge.
Blew a tire down there and turns the puck over right to Kalberg. Kalberg trying to find somebody in the slot, and bodies are flying everywhere all of a sudden. They're going to bring it over in our direction, try to break it over in front of the spectators. And this one played up high into the air and settles down in the neutral zone where it's quickly passed onto the stick of Smith. Smith over to Schneider. Schneider with a little spinorama tries to get a pass off, and it sails right past Munson. So, Matt, you know, we've got 3 really good sophomores logging heavy minutes, a lot of responsibility here on the blue line for Lakeville North. So just going back into, you know, your day in, you know, Lake Conference hockey, it was really rare that sophomores would be asked to play defense or forward for that matter, or in some of these stronger programs. There were just so many kids your school that were older than you that were just more ready.
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit, but I mean, the kids are maturing a little bit earlier too. So, you know, yeah, you're right. In our day, it was pretty rare to see one, at least on our team that was going to compete. So.
Yeah, big difference when you're talking about, you know, just a high school team or the top teams in Lakeville North. You know, Matt, they're just a couple years removed from an undefeated season where they were state champions. So this is a heavyweight program. Counter move for Prior Lake. Nice move there by Traxel. Now it's a diagonal pass. It's broken up in the neutral zone momentarily, but winds up, spelts over to Cashmark.
Nice
Cashmark tries a saucer pass over to Judding. This one bounces a little bit past everybody. Judding with the boot plays this one over. He plays it back to Speltz. Cashmark, Speltz, Judding. All of a sudden, there's a little chemistry evident, visibly evident when you watch this line.
Well, you know, you're versatile when you can make a better pass with your foot than some guys can with their stick.
So we had some multi-sport athletes on St. Thomas in the last game, and one of the kids is college committed, the only player that's college committed on St. Thomas for hockey, and he made 2 wrestling moves. He had an ankle grab takedown here when he was a little hacked off, and then over there was a similar. I said, you know, this guy needs to go out for the wrestling team, but unfortunately also a winter sport. 12-12 to go in the period, and breakout opportunity is thwarted. This is a shot from the blue line. Comes in off the stick of Green. They get the rebound, and that's on the board. Cashmark tidying up the loose change. Cashmark from Green, and Prior Lake cuts into the margin. Well, it is now 2-1.
That's the one we were looking for. That's what we're talking about. Now it's a 2-1 game, and it's anybody's game now.
You know, Matt, I announce a lot of hockey games. I've done a ton of midget and junior hockey where I'll go up to Blaine for the midget and junior leagues, North American Hockey League affiliates. And, you know, I'll announce game after game after game. And I always tell people, you know, I'm just rooting for the team that's behind to score the next goal. It isn't that I have, you know, favorites one way or the other. Here's the goal horn. A little bit late for Cashmark. Cashmark from Green and Winters. It's 11 from 9 and 20. Cashmark from Green and Winter. So anyway, what I was saying is I'll announce games, and you know, if you're doing multiple games in a day, today I've got 4, you want good games because you get to the third period, it's so much easier to focus on the game. Oh, the puck is loose and bodies are flying, the net's off its moorings, and now the goalie gets rolled. A little bit of a hectic activity down by the goal mouth.
Well, it's funny you say that, though. I go watch a lot of games, too, and people will notice, hey, you just cheered for both teams. I go, well, I just want to see a good play. So, I mean, I think that's kind of where you're coming from. You just want to see some great plays, and that's all we're looking for.
Respect the game. Even when I watch my son, my son's been playing youth hockey for over 10 years. You know, if I see a great goal, hats off. You know, it doesn't matter if it's his team or the other one. Like, respect the game. I just want to see great hockey. So, anyway, you know, we talk about the importance of not falling too far behind. The next goal was a huge one. It could have been 3-0 Lakeville. Instead, it's 2-1. Prior Lake is cut into the margin, and now it's anybody's ball game. And Matt, I don't know if you noticed, but look at that scoreboard. Shots are 18-8. They've certainly had plenty of zone time and plenty of scoring chances.
Sure have. 18-8. That's yeah. Well, he's only given up 1 goal, so that's some good goaltending.
Yeah, Johnson's played very, very well to this point. Lakeville rings it over in front of the spectators. Can't get out of the zone, however. Now they're pinned back into their own end. What we're seeing, and there's a penalty upcoming against Lakeville. What we're seeing is really a suffocating forecheck from Prior Lake.
They do, and I've always said that's where the game starts, is the forecheck. At least in my opinion. That's where you take time away. You get guys to panic. I know I played D my whole life. They wouldn't let me play forward. But I tell you what, if you didn't put a good forecheck forecheck on me, I could eat you up. But if you put a good one on me, just like anybody else, I'd panic and throw it away. So
I was just about to say that, you as a defenseman, you know what's hard to play against. And there's a player, some of, your son, my son, some of their peer groups, kids are college committed. There's a player my son's age who's in those discussions. He hasn't college committed yet, but he's considered one of the better 03 defensemen in the country. And I just remember, if you ever hounded him, he turned the puck over all the time. But when you didn't have any pressure on him, he could make plays at will. And, the skating's so good, could make a lot of great plays. So, like you said, you can make the plays when no one's on you, put a good forecheck. Even the best defensemen, you take away that time, their decisions are worse and worse and worse.
It's really the equivalent to a Russian football on a quarterback. You take the time away from them, they throw bad passes, you let them sit in there all day, and what do we see? We see lots of yards and touchdowns. So
80 seconds to go in this power play for Prior Lake. They're trying to tie the game. This is Cashmark. He is the goal scorer. Plays this one back to Beatty. Beatty. Oh, he takes the big clap bomber, waving the flag. That's something you don't see much anymore.
It's kind of old school there.
That was old school. He's a throwback player. They play this one over to Judding. Judding goes rink wide over to Beatty. Beatty with a dipsy dangle pulls this one down behind the goal line. He's still got the puck on his stick, and now he plays it back to Judding. Judding fakes the shot. He drops in, and they're doing a good job of creating some motion. That's what opens the passing lines. You and I have talked about this hockey theory over the years. You got to keep moving in the attacking zone with and without the puck. That makes it difficult for anybody to step in a passing lane because it's always a shifting lane. Traxel plays this one over to Judding, back to Traxel. Tries a little one-time action. With 30 seconds left in the power play, they've still got zone. They just really had trouble penetrating and getting those high-quality scoring chances, but they still have the zone. Cashmark over on the wall in front of the bench. Plays this one down low to Beatty. Beatty overlaps him, and Traxel stationary out top. He's an option, kind of a safety option. And this is onto the stick of Schneider, I think. Throws it out with the backhand. Can't clear the zone, however. I'm sorry, that's Levens. Shot, tip, up into the netting. Judding fired that one, and unfortunately for Lakeville, 1 second left. They'll drop the puck, and it's going to be some time before they can get somebody back in the zone.
Well, in all seriousness now, we joke about the slap shot, but it's important to take a few slap shots because where it gets important is where you're faking it, especially on power plays. You want to fake some, and if you never take any, there's no credibility that you're ever going to take it. So you do need to take some slap shots. So when you lift that stick to fake them to get the forward to commit up on you, that's the important part.
I think there's a lot of confusion at the highest level. You see a guy, rip and twine. I use Ovechkin and Stamkos as the best example. It's a huge difference between the one-timer. The reason the slap shot went the way of the Dodo Bird is that slow, long release.
Right.
So that's what you don't see anymore. And like you mentioned, it can be used for a deceptive feint. I'm trying to remember, I think it was the opener where we saw one of the best fakes off of the slap shot. Everybody froze, and then a player got around and made the move. Oh my goodness, we have half of the people in the stands giving a shout. A lot of arms went up, but the two referees on the ice do not call that a trip, and we'll continue 5-on-5, but it sure looked like it could have been. Oh,
a little
he's
snow.
paying the price. A little snow right in the grill.
And he thinks maybe he snowed him on purpose. But let's face it, when you're going to the net hard, you got to stop or you run into him.
You're going to run him over, right? You're going to roll him.
What other option do you have? So
curl off and lose your footing and fly into the end wall.
And those goalies are probably pretty hot anyway, so a little snow isn't going to hurt them, right? Cool them down a little bit.
I always thought it was funny in youth hockey, somebody's down low and a kid's got the puck covered, and a player, goal scorers are going to try to get the stick on it. And you have the parents screaming, "Protect the goalie!" I thought, well, what are the 40 pounds of equipment for?
Wow.
Like, isn't the goalie pretty well protected?
I had that argument last year with a parent where he was a goalie parent, and he said, I don't care if they take penalties when they're protecting the goal. I go, he's got $5,000 worth of equipment on. He's the last guy who's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
So
and I love goalies, but you see this, and I'll go back to non-check adult hockey. It's that area around the goal mat. Yep. It's taken as a male affront. It isn't that they're really worried about the goalie's, health and injury and fitness and all that. It's just, you don't do this in my house.
Right.
And it's really the machismo that comes out around the goal. And, I think that's really the underlying issue.
Is.
So
it's just a disrespect thing, right?
Exactly. So going off is Griffin. This forces the Panthers into a penalty kill. We've hit the midpoint of the game, 8:24 remaining. We're in the second half of the second period, and we've got a great one. Shots on goal, 19-8, favoring Prior Lake. They trail on the board, however, 2-1, and now they have a 5-on-4 man advantage with the power play. They win the face-off and get the shot, but winds up being a stray puck that Lakeville is able to throw the length of the ice. So Prior Lake now bringing it back up ice. Here comes Winter. Winter gains the red line, dumps this one all the way down to the far wall. And the first one to arrive on the scene is Tushy. Tushy plays this one out top. Winter, Tushy. Tushy leaves it onto the stick of Cable. Cable trying just a little slow roller there, Matt. You see the way he kind of got that one down toward the slot, looking for the tip.
Well,
we don't see that very often. This is legitimately a hockey fight. Oh, third man in. That's legitimate. We don't see that very often.
yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I just think if you can be disciplined and skate away from the way you get back at other teams is taking the power play.
Okay, Gandhi.
Yeah, well, I know. I get probably criticized for that, but I just don't believe in going into the penalty box if you can avoid it.
Yeah, it's a speed game. It's an emotional game.
Very emotional.
Things get heated and tempers flare. What's going to be interesting is this makes it very, very difficult for the guys in stripes. They have to dissect what actually happened and try to, adjudicate this. And I'm guessing in the end we're going to see a lot of this stuff cancel out. But going down an additional man here either way would really affect things because Lakeville North had a penalty to kill. 87 seconds left in that one. Prior Lake was enjoying the power play.
Well, here's my rule of thumb. When you're on a power play, you never take a penalty. But we'll see what happens here. You don't want to take yourself out of a scoring chance, do you?
I hear you. So we're going to take just a moment to figure out what's going on here. And while we're doing that, let me tell you what you can look forward to for the rest of today. The second to third period guest here, Spencer Schneider, interviewed by AJ Anello. We filmed that one about a month ago, and we'll re-air that one. A great opportunity to learn more about Spencer away from the ice. And since I didn't have enough footage from these two teams going off the board here, Teddy Lagerbach, interviewed by Grant Doctor, a couple of those star players, a #1 ranked Minnetonka. The nightcap is going to be between period guests, first half of a two-part interview with NHL agent Ben Hankinson. And then in the second half, we're going to get to second period to third period, Mike Warlicki and Luke Grammer, a couple college-committed players on defense for those two teams. So, Matt, one of the things I like to do in the second period is talk about some of the graduates from these two schools. So did you know so these two are somewhat related. There's a politician, he's 25 years old, he's named Drew Christensen. He graduated from Prior Lake. He introduced a bill at the Minnesota legislature to bar Ari Laurendijk Jr., the son of the auto racer, from ever coming to Minnesota. So
What's the theory on that?
I'll get to that with the other half of this one. So anyway, fun stuff. Prior Lake's kind of a newer community, doesn't have the long history. Boom! Tying the game is Judding. Judding ties the game. As I mentioned, everything was probably going to cancel out. It did. They still had that power play, and Judding ties the game. That was a rocket snapper.
Well, it's kind of my point on penalty kills. If you keep on giving them power plays, you got a guy like Judding, it's just a matter of time, isn't it? He's rolling across the top of that circle, and he really fires them.
Yeah, he's a top player in the state of Minnesota. He entered this game 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points. Make that 7 goals, 11 assists, 18 points. This is the 9th game of the year. $19 from 10 and 11. That is Judding from Speltz and Cashmark, and we are tied. All of a sudden, Matt, in a game of momentum, Lakeville North led 2-0. Seemed like they had, really the world at their feet. And now we're in the latter half of the second period, and they're on their heels, 2-2. But it doesn't seem like it. Here comes Judding one more time. Ooh. Oh, what a defensive play! Oh. He goes for the trip. However, Pearson gave up his body, threw the stick, ticked the puck. Unfortunately, also got a foot, and that leads to a tripping call.
Well, right now you got 21 shots, 2 goals. That's right on his percentage. So you may probably see the Panthers here, or the Lakers really going a lot of saves here. So it'll be interesting to see.
Did they just put somebody in the box for
a trip?
Lakeville North? Somebody went in for Lakeville North, too. So, okay, so the theory behind that, Matt, so sticking up for your people, this is pretty good. So there's a graduate of Prior Lake named Becca Kufrin. She was a contestant on either Bachelor or Bachelorette. She was wronged in the reality TV show by The Bachelor, who was Ari Lyondike Jr.
I watched it.
So then the payback, a couple months, years later, is Drew Christensen, who's a very young elected politician, 25 years old. He wrote some legislation, and obviously, tongue-in-cheek, about banning Ari Lyondike Jr. from coming to Minnesota because Becca was wrong. So Becca and Drew, both graduates. This other one, I'm not sure if it's a graduate. I think maybe just attended. I know there's a famous brother in there too that plays soccer, but Kylie Bunbury from Prior Lake is an actress. And I went through the same trouble when it was Lakeville North over the opener. I just don't have much material. Composer Bradley Ellingbo, and I think she graduated from Lakeville, but I'm not positive. The Bachman family, the Purple Boxes, right. Wiz Bachman, Olympic volleyballer, now married to Hugh McCutcheon. She's from Lakeville. I believe she graduated from the old Lakeville High. So anyway, those are some short lists. These are some newer communities, don't have the 100-year-old history like a St. Thomas. Wait till tonight. I will blow your mind with the Edina graduates.
I cannot wait, but I'll tell you, I did know that first tidbit. I was aware of that. Second one, I was not.
All right, so we've got 6:56 to go in a tie game, icing the call. Now, we've got a pretty full penalty boxes on both sides. This will affect your team depth. Matt, they're playing 5-on-5, right? But both teams have 3 guys seated in the penalty box with a bunch of penalties that have canceled out. There just aren't many people available. That's a shot from Green that hits the outside of the netting, tickling the twine on the wrong side. But there aren't that many people available. When you go to, send the next ones out, it's going to be interesting to see, are they all in there for minors, or was there a misconduct in there somewhere?
Well, we were talking about how some teams aren't running a 4th line for a very good reason, but these are the times when you actually need it. So, yeah, I mean, there's strategy not to carry in that extra line, but you get in a lot of penalty situation, you may actually have to go to it.
6:40 remains in the period, as we have been through the entire period. The play is over to our right. I don't think we've looked over here yet. We've had very little pressure from Lakeville North all period.
That's right.
Shots are 23-8, and that, indicative of how much Prior Lake has dominated the second period. Credit Coach Joe Pankratz for really coming up with some strategy, working with the personnel and getting the kids to play motivated hockey in period 2. This one's thrown on goal, steered aside by Shop Bell. And now it's a chance for Prior Lake to work a breakout out of their own end. Stretch pass, trying to hit the home run, and it gets past Gasparini onto the stick of Beatty. Beatty, sets up Kalberg right on the door, and it's denied. Big save there by Johnson. Out to the neutral zone, entering in and chip and chase. That's 16 is Gale, I think. Yes, it is. Gasparini from the point. This one kind of flutters into the back wall, and now it's a chance for a forechecking Lakeville to work against Cable. Cable trying to find a breakout route, and a couple tick passes onto the stick of Cashmark. Tries a little chip and chase, and he gets this one all the way down to the goal where we get a cover from Johnson.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm very impressed with this Cable. Fabulous D. Other than outside of the hairdo, which is fantastic as well. He looks like a hockey player, but he makes great decisions at the point there. If you can have a D that can be that confident back there and be able to break the puck out so consistently and make those long passes too, it's a big deal.
It's interesting. In the preview, I watched Peter Odney and Tony from Youth Hockey Hub with a 10 Minutes from Tony show, and they talked about, one player that they each liked from each team. Tony said he likes Cable from Prior Lake, and now I can see why. He's played very, very well today. And, shout out to the Texas peeps that might be watching. I know Cable's a friend back in the day of Kyle Russell, one of my homies down there. 5:22 to go. Mike Russell, good family. Tracy, and so we have a face-off coming to the goaltender's right. Jutting steps into the, I'm sorry, that's not Jutting, that's just number 9, 19. It's Green into the face-off circle, and he's squared off, knotted up with Smith. They ring the boards over to Schneider. And, Matt, you have a feeling we've got the MASH unit here. That one line is 2 players that are coming back off of injuries. We've got, another line that's had trouble getting things going. If Lakeville North is going to come back and take a lead or get a goal, I have a feeling it is going to be this unit here of Schneider, Smith, and Griffin. Well, you hate to ride the same line all game, but at the same time, these guys are skilled, high-level players.
There you go.
Big shot there from Schneider, staved by Shop Bell. one of his few saves this period. He's been relatively relaxed over there in the Prior Lake net.
Well, and that can come back to haunt you too when you start to daydream a little bit back there, and or you start to get a little cold, a little stiff. Next thing you know, one's hitting the back of the net. So,
absolutely, you know, when you go that long with without seeing something, you may not be ready, and a lot of times that next shot comes on an odd man because the puck pops out. So, anyway, good that Shotbell got some action. And on the forecheck, it's Beatty. Beatty throws this one over to Swanson. Swanson plays it back to the blue line. Cable throws it back over to Swanson. He hits Kimmis. A lot going on in the near wall here, and eventually Cable has to back out of the zone, and Lakeville manages to bring it out to neutral. Davidson pushing the pace, and his partner goes back. This is Munson. Munson snaps it off the wall and out to the neutral zone. It's Cable. Cable backing up but passing forward, gets it in front of the benches, chipped down by Swanson and onto the stick of Johnson behind the goal. But guess who's there on the forecheck? Real good hounding pressure there from Kimmis. Kimmis is tired. He goes off for the line change.
Another great long passer by Cable off, kind of going backwards there, and he fires off his back foot, which is not easy to do. A lot of times coaches tell you not to do it, but he was able to do it. He put it right on his stick. Just perfect timing for the guy to come back on the tag and put it right on his tape. Not an easy thing to do.
So a familiar name here on Lakeville North is Gasparini. Gasparini, grandson of Gino Gasparini, the longtime coach of North Dakota back when they were called the Fighting Sioux. Face-off is 1 to Winner. Winner's got Hench's-like height, I guess they would call it.
Yeah, he's going to be taller than 6'5". He's got to be 6'6", 6'7".
Big hit there. I'm going to be curious to see what the call is. Huge check there, and it's going against Prior Lake. We'll see what the call is. Is that a board? They want to talk about it.
It's a big hit.
Little frustration possibly coming out. That is Jutting. He goes off. 2 minutes. They just call it a rough. They're going to call it a rough penalty. And yeah, so, you know, Matt, you went to college out just north of Boston. And, you know, I grew up in the Twin Cities. And, you know, your brother's my best friend and hanging around you all the time, close friends. I'm 5'8", and I always felt so short. You know, a lot of people 6'1", 6'2". So I'm visiting someone out in college, and I got on the little train, subway in Boston. I'm like, I'm a big guy. Like, everybody's pretty short. I move away. I've been gone 25 years. I never felt short. I was the shorter end of average. But standing next to you right now is a reminder of how short I always felt living in Minnesota. 6'7", 5'8", standing next to you. This is why I probably shouldn't be standing next to you. Well, it's just not good for my height image.
It's funny you said that. When I was out in the Boston area, I was always just a giant. People weren't as tall out there. I come back to the Midwest in the summer, and you see people that were right up to your eyes. I mean, people are bigger in the Midwest. So
it's just so much different when, you know, being in the Southeast or Northeast, I never felt as short as I do in Minnesota. And big shot here from Griffin. So it's a power play opportunity for Lakeville North. They really need it, Matt. They haven't had a scoring chance for a while. Here comes Lindholm with the shorthanded scoring chance. Ridden off the puck nicely by Pearson. And almost wonder, Matt, could we get a little case of over pursuit here late in the period? You know, you want to bring the puck up and gain the zone, but you know, at some point you're going to have to stop fighting that solo battle and get back into position.
Well, see, that's one thing about Prior Lake. That's one thing I like about penalty kills. They pursue a little bit more, and I think that's really good in high school. Obviously, if you play a team like Edina, they'll make you pay for doing that. But the majority of high school teams can't handle that pursuit. And they're really, especially when you have a real quick team too. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, you can go in there too long and have the F2 come in and deep and really get you on an over pursuit. But I'm a big fan of really going after guys in penalty kill.
And if you think Matt's Edina bias is oozing out during this game, stick around for the nightcap. We've got his alma mater playing Moorhead in the 7 o'clock game, so 7:30 game. So, Matt, it's great to work with you. It's been 30-plus years.
34 years, I believe.
Trying to figure out maybe when you were in 10th grade and I was in high school doing some of these games for Edina. And, you know, smaller audience back then as there was no internet. The joke was audience of 2, Eichel and Bart Larson.
And they turned the volume off.
They turned the volume. That's what they said to try to make me feel bad. So anyway, it's pretty funny. You know, still going strong here after about a 32-year hiatus. I've done a lot of games this past year and really enjoying it. Got a great one here. We've had good ones. You know, the last game was 4-3. First one was a surprise. Chaska upsetting Eden Prairie. 2-2 late second period. No place that I'd rather be than here at Dakota. And thanks for watching, everybody that's watching at home. Hope you're enjoying today's game. Still got 43 seconds left in this power play. 43 seconds left in this man advantage. And Lakeville North doing some damage down along the wall as far as possession, but they're yet to get a shot on goal. Working the puck around the perimeter, and this one comes looking for the rebound. A couple cracks at it, and man, I wish I could read the numbers. I just can't read this black. Now I can see it. It's number 2, Pearson. This black on red is just a dastardly scheme for the announcer.
Right.
I love the prior leg. You got that big, I don't know, 14-inch number on white, no name. I can read that. Oh, backdoor. Oh, he went to fire it in the empty net. Griffin was shooting and deflecting it. Was a late stick. I think that was Colbert, but maybe it was Cable. Somebody, right as the penalty was expiring, sacrificed and got a stick on it. Griffin got robbed. He can't believe he didn't fire that into that wide open goal mouth.
Well, sometimes you get a little anxious and it's on your stick. You can't believe it's on your stick, and you know, you panic a little bit. Or
he did his part. He got the shot off. He didn't realize he was there to tip it. Holy cow.
But just great goaltending. I don't know.
Face-off comes over to the right, or excuse me, the left-hand side of our goaltender, Shop Bell. Jutting. God, we've had good music. Somebody, you know, I was talking to Justin, our producer. He thinks that the playlist was set up by Tony from Youth Hockey Hub. And great music. That was Vici Levels, and man, it's been one good song after another for the music played by the public address announcer. Chipped out to the neutral zone by Kranz. Oh, I'm sorry, he turned the other way. I just assumed he'd go to his right. He went to his left. Traxel keeps this one at the blue line and goes for a snapper. This one goes just wide. And with 80 seconds to go, Prior Lake's back on the attack. Good zone time. Near side top corner shot misses just wide. Played over to Krantz. Krantz throws it out to the neutral zone. Forecheck right in front of us. Can't see where the puck is, and we got that student section. They're bringing the heat. That's a pretty vocal small group. They're doing a great job.
Yeah. Cashmark's heading to the bench.
Cash money goes off, huh? Penalty. He's got a goal. He's got an assist, and
he's doing it all.
He's got the minor.
What do they call that kind of hat trick? Gordie Howe hat trick, huh? You need to fight though, I guess. Right?
Yeah, which was funny. So in his career, do you know how many Gordie Howe hat tricks Gordie Howe had?
No, do you actually know the answer?
Yeah, the answer, depending on where the source is, it's either 0, 1, or 2. So, you know, the hockey expression, the Gordie Howe hat trick. He was a tough player back in his day. Obviously, in his era, the best player in the game was a goal, an assist, and a fight. But when you check their archives, he fought very, very little. What it was, these guys were afraid to fight him because he was kind of, he was a Canadian badass, let's put it that way. Back in the day, yeah, he was physically strong and guys weren't going to fight him, but they had this perception as a tough guy. So yeah, Matt, I think it's 1.
That's it, huh?
There's 1, yeah. So he's got this reputation in the Gordie Howe hat trick, but you know, he didn't have very many of them. So 49 seconds to go in the period. Face-off comes to the right of Shop Bell, and it is still a power play. Good chance here for Lakeville North to regain the lead. It's been 2-2 for quite a while, and obviously they liked the game a little better when they were up 2-0. Jutting steals the puck, tries to work around the defender, and nothing else. He managed to get the puck out to the neutral zone, run off a little bit of clock. Jutting, I'm going to have to check my lineups here. Do we have a game? I'm trying to remember who plays who. Does Prior Lake play Eden Prairie? Oh, I wish they did. It'd be fun to see Jutting squaring off, you know, it's a team game, but the one-on-one matchup against a player like Jack Jensen. Those 2 of the best players you've got in Minnesota, 2 Mr. Hockey candidates. That'd be a fun one to watch.
Sure would.
Entering the zone is Green. They get a shot in the cover, and just 14 seconds to go. So we're going to kick it over to Justin when we get to the period break. He's going to play a couple interviews for us. Just to remind you, it is Spencer Schneider from these Lakeville North Panthers, as well as Teddy Lagerbach. Teddy's not here this week. He's playing a different tournament, but he has some pretty good stuff, Matt. He talks about his favorite type of music, and that's why I wanted to replay it for viewers. So I'll tell you that one when we cut the mics, and you know, pretty funny stuff. So out to the neutral zone. It's gobbled up by Cable. He's got 5 seconds to work with and gets a shot off, but it's deflected, and the rebound actually pops onto the goalie. And with 0.5 of a second, 1/2 of 1 second left, we get our whistle and the face-off coming to the goaltender's right. Still 1:04 remaining in the power play. We're going to have an overhanging penalty situation for period 3. That's going to do it. So, Matt, any thoughts before we go to break?
Well, I got a 2-2 game here. Can you ask for any more? It's an exciting game. It's a good game.
better play-by-play guy, but you know what? That's not going to happen. I'm still here for the rest of the third period. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please enjoy the between-period content, and we will be back with third period action. He's Matt Henches. I'm John Conley. Let's kick it over to Justin, our producer.
I'm here at Ames Arena, home of the Lakeville North Panthers, here with senior captain Spencer Schneider. Play a little game here. I need two lies and a truth.
All right. Number one is I once got my foot stuck in an ice hole when I was 8 years old, and they had to cut a hole around the whole foot of me to get it out. My second one is when the Oklahoma City Thunder were in town playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, I was at Mystic Lake and Russell Westbrook sat down at my blackjack table. My third one is, due to having Croatian ancestors, I once played on the ping pong team for Croatia internationally.
Sounds good. I'm going to need some time to think about that. We'll come back to that. Favorite place, vacation place, or any place you have in mind?
I would have to go with Las Vegas so I can gamble and see women.
Las Vegas?
Yeah.
What kind of women are you looking for?
We'll get into that later.
Oh, all right. How about music? What's like pre-game music? What do you like to listen to, like in the locker room with your boys?
I usually go with rap from groups from Atlanta
Yeah.
who wear expensive jewelry.
You got an artist in mind?
I prefer Migos.
You kind of look like Quavo, I'm not gonna lie.
I do get that a lot.
How about celebrity crush?
I would have to go with Nicki Minaj because she's got a beautiful smile.
Yeah? Sounds good. And what about the best thing about Lakeville North girls?
Best thing about Lakeville North girls is in Lakeville, they're always better on the north side of town.
Oh, is that it? That's what I hear. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Minnesota Blizzard offer fall midget teams playing at the highest level for 15s, 16U, and 18U. For more information, please visit our website.
Hi, I'm AJ Nello here with Spencer Schneider here at Lakeville North Arena. He told me two lies and a truth. He told me he got his foot stuck in an ice hole, ping pong tournament international for Croatia, and gambling with Russell Westbrook. I'm going to have to say your truth was gambling with Russell Westbrook.
Nope.
It wasn't?
That did not happen.
Your foot got stuck.
That is it. That's the truth.
What happened?
I was walking, chasing my buddies, and they pulled a prank on me where they covered the top of the ice hole with slush. They told me to follow them, so I followed them. My foot went straight through. It was stuck for about 20 minutes.
Let's hope you're not that clumsy on the ice rink. All right, that's a wrap. Thank you for watching.
Minnesota's hockey culture is one of, if not the best in America, so it's only fitting one of the best hockey camps in the world is right here in Nisswa.
This is Dan Germanson. Welcome to Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer based in Nisswa, Minnesota in the beautiful Brainerd Lakes area. At MHC, there is a culture that breeds success. We offer resident and day camps for boys and girls of all ages from mites to NHL, 9 weeks throughout the summer.
We've had probably 700 NHLers come through here.
We have 32 hockey-related activities per week. Over the years, we have had close to 400 professional players come through our camp, including Division I, Stanley Cup, and Olympic champions.
I'm a little surprised that this camp is still here. To be honest with you, we thought it would be about a 20-year run, and it actually got better.
Visit our website at mnhockeycamps.com. Registration opens January 1st for 2019.
We're here live at Maynard's on Lake Minnetonka. We're with our guest star, Minnetonka unbelievable forward, number 34, Teddy Lagerbach. A lot of you might know him as the guy that skates to the blue line very, very slow. So Teddy, you mentioned you're a little nervous about this before the interview, so we'll try to keep it light. We're going to play a little game just to get you rolling. You're going to give us two lies and one truth.
All right. First is my grandma. famous great-grandma is a famous singer from Sweden. Second one would be the 4 percussions. Third one, I can speak fluent Swedish.
Okay. So we're gonna go to break, and we'll be right back, and we'll answer that right after. So Teddy, where's your favorite spot to vacation?
I would say this year was spring break, went to Arizona with the boys. Had a great time. Nice and warm. Loved it there.
It was nice.
Great time.
So Teddy, we know you like music. You like watching hockey edits with good music in it. So what's your favorite type of music?
Выйду в поле, длани раскину, забуду о горе, да выгну я спину.
Recently in the rap, but recently I've been really getting into Russian techno.
What is Russian techno?
I can't explain it either. It's good stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Gets me going.
So now, Teddy, we know you're a bit of a ladies' man. What's your celebrity crush?
There's many, but gotta go with Nina Agdal. She's pretty good looking.
I could see you guys together.
Yeah, me too.
I think she's realistic. I think she's in your ballpark.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's pretty good. So Teddy, we both go to Minnetonka. We both know some girls there. What's the best thing about Minnetonka girls?
I have to say they're also supportive. Come to our games. It's good stuff. Like, good looking. It's great.
We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back. All right, Teddy. We know you've had a lot of games where you scored multiple goals in different rinks. So we're gonna go. What's your favorite rink and why?
Favorite rink? Go Bagels with us. Love the home rink.
Why?
Just Minnetonka. I like it.
You like it?
Nice and comfortable there.
He likes it.
Yeah.
And so now we're back from break, and we're going to talk about his two lies and a truth. So I know you a little bit too. I know. I'm just going to go out right away. I think the truth's that your grandma's a famous singer from Sweden. Is that true?
That is true. My great grandma, famous singer from Sweden.
Can you give us a little example of how she's singing? Like maybe you got her voice a little bit.
I didn't get it.
You didn't get it? Are you sure?
I wish.
All right. Well,
sadly.
So that's a wrap, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
We are back. It's John Connolly here with Matt Henches. On break, we were talking about what a great hockey game it's been. Matt, it's been a game of, not ebbs and flows, but tidal shifts.
Absolutely. And, the game before, too, the St. Thomas game, I just came in the third period, and I got to watch that. I'm like, well, another great game. If you're going to do 4 games, you might as well do 4 good games. And I think you probably got the treat of seeing a defenseman in the first game, Mike Coster, going for the hat trick. That is a hard thing to do.
It's funny. I went and announced a game a week ago. It was Hill Murray against St. Thomas Academy over to Aldrich. There's a 9th, 10th, and 11th grader college committed for Hill Murray. It's Nick Pierre in 9th grade. 10th grader is Joe Polotachuk. The junior is a kid named Oberle, and he put up a hattie. And you're like, this guy's, he's flipping awesome. Right. And then you pulled up the stat sheet. He had 0 goals entering the game, and he went off for 3 from the D. So, yeah, you don't see a defenseman get a hat trick very often. Unless you're playing down at the park, down at Highlands Park. But
I got to be honest with you, I don't even know if I scored a hat trick at the park ever. It's not an easy thing to do, especially nowadays. It's a lot harder to score from D. I think these goalies are just so good, and the Ds are really good at moving guys out. And it's not an easy thing to do it from D. Wow.
So speaking about the park, Highlands Park, which was featured somewhat prominently in the movie Pond Hockey, there were lights on the other day, Matt. Lights on at the 24th until about midnight.
Right.
So I thought, somebody's rank attendants down there. So then I had a Christmas meal, your brother's house, and went home, and the lights were on. At 11 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, I went and skated with the kids till 10, my first ice this year, and then the lights were on till 11. So the kids are getting some good time in down at the Highlands Park, and I just love it when kids get skating outdoors.
You usually got to bribe a rink attendant to do that, don't you?
No comment. I'll tell you off what the source of the warming house access was, because it was a bit of a surprise to me. I was the ring attendant, best job I ever had. To this day, that was the best job I ever had. Now, there's only a way you can make an adult living as the rink attendant. I'd still be there, but man, that was fun.
You sold a lot of Holiday Pop, if I remember correctly.
You're right, Matt. There used to be a Holiday Pop. It wasn't just Coke, Pepsi. You'd go to Holiday, they had a store brand, and they had a deep discount. They triple redlined the stuff. I was getting the cola, Holiday Cola, for 2.5 cents. So I'd throw it in the snowbank. It didn't matter what you had. You could sell it for 50 cents. You couldn't charge more for Mountain Dew and whatever. So it was like pure profit because I was getting the cans for 2.5 cents. So here we are. The puck is dropped. We've got an overhanging power play situation. 5-on-4, Lakeville North with the overhanging power play situation. And they have gained the zone. They're now trying to regain the puck. It's a chip and chase. And this one takes a crazy bounce. We've had some strange bounces in the earlier game off of that corner. Goes the length of the ice. Prior Lake already goes for a line change just 19 seconds into this period, and they bring out some fresh penalty killers. Pearson throws this one down along the wall. First one to arrive is Traxel. Traxel brings it over in our direction, loses his footing, however, and momentarily a 5-on-3, but the puck came to Traxel, and from his knees, he fired at the length of the ice.
That's like the second or third time he's lost, and I wonder if he's missing an edge there.
Yeah, at this level, it's a safe assumption that he knows how to skate. And when you blow a tire 3 times in the game, it could be some equipment issue. So a little spinorama move there, trying to throw it out front from Schneider. But just white jerseys, and they managed to get the clear. That's going to do it for this power play. Just 5 seconds to go. Prior Lake returns to full strength, and crisis averted. It's 2-2 with 16 minutes to go in this game. Third period action here from Prior Lake, and another great game as part of the Hockey for Life opening day. Tick down below, and now into the corner in pursuit. This is Anello. Anello loses his stick, regains his stick, but that little distraction allowed Speltz to pull out with the puck, and he got it over to Judding. Judding's trying to get it over to Cashmark. These guys have connected pretty well. Chemistry, evident in the second period. They look great together, and now they're on the forecheck and cycling it in deep. Speltz, he fights a battle against Munson. Munson tries to chip this one past Speltz, and now it's over to Griffin. Griffin with a little tick pass out to the neutral zone, and here comes Schneider. Schneider gets bodied off the puck, and now it's chipped back in. A lot of hectic activity this shift, Matt, and it's going to be interesting. Inevitably the game settles down. Going to be interesting to see what happens when things maybe slow down a little bit.
Oh, here we go.
Played out to the neutral zone. A little 3-on-1 shot. Oh, and a big rebound opportunity. Oh, he fired it high. Winner had the whole goal mouth. The puck got up on edge, and it went over the goal mouth. And Winner's going to have nightmares about that yawning goal looking him right in the face as he fired that one up a little bit high. Just couldn't quite get the puck settled.
Well, I can guarantee you in 20 years, 30 years from now, he'll still think about that shot right there. Because from a D, I mean, you don't get a lot of chances to score. And
maybe he will, but depending on how the rest of this game goes, 20 or 30 years, maybe he'll still be hearing about it from his teammates. That'd be even worse, right?
Hey,
remember that one? Yeah, at least it was the, what do you call it? The Christmas tournament, not the section game or something.
Well, it's not like it was like the 6th or 7th goal in the game. It's a 2-2 game here.
Yeah, it's interesting, these locker room speeches and memories about what people have and living with regrets and whatnot. Right. When people talk about the 80 Olympic team, what they're reciting is the scripted speech from the movie, and I believe they probably had some notes from Brooks and could kind of recreate that speech. The memorable one that I'd like to hear is the following game after they beat the Russians. They had to win one more game to win the gold. They went to the second to third period break, and they were behind. I think it was Finland. Pretty sure it was Finland. And they were behind at that point. And Herm Brooks had a very succinct message in that second to third. None of it fit for print, and I would love to have that because the accounts are all pretty consistent. He just said you would take this regret to your blank grave, and it was a message that you have this opportunity. You guys got to figure it out. One period to go, and they came back to win that game, and the rest is history.
Now, I'm not talking about that kind of stage back in college. We were beating Boston College, and we weren't a very good team. They were number 1 in the country. We had a coach that said exactly the same thing. If you blow this game, you will remember to the day you die. I tell you, we blew it, and he was right. I mean, to this day, I go, gosh.
We could have won that game for Merrimack, right? So, Connick brings the puck in, takes a shot, follows his own shot there after it's deflected down by Emmerich, and. Yeah, it's interesting, Matt. You went out there, and Merrimack had a great deal of success as an independent. I think they were invited to the NCAA tournament, but you were part of the transition into Hockey East. Talk about being thrown to the wolves.
We were thrown to the wolves. It was the house that Ace built. And I know Ace does some games with you once in a while, and I think he's doing one Saturday. But, yeah, I was roommates with Ace in college, and he played on some wonderful youth teams from Duluth. Was it Foot Locker? No, it was Sports Locker. And they won some state tournaments, so I mean, he was on some good teams. But he was my roommate, and that was kind of the team that Ace built. I always say that, not really, but he was a big part of it. He was a good hockey player.
So certainly Ricky Pion and Jim Rivnak, and these guys didn't have anything to do with it.
Jim Vesey was the
Jim Vesey. It was Ace, right? Yeah, Jim Vesey. Vesey's son's playing in the NHL, right?
Yes, he is. Wonderful player. I think he was up for the Hobie, wasn't he?
I believe you're right. I don't know for certain, but this one goes the length of the ice, and it's played by Johnson. Johnson, little D-to-D pass, bounces over to Davidson. They try to work a breakout through Connick. Losing possession as it got to the centerman Smith, however, and Smith. What's interesting, Matt, Griffin's no longer playing on this right side. I wonder if there's an injury issue. I know he's trying to come back from an injury from the Thanksgiving tournament, but Connick now skating with Schneider and Smith.
Okay.
Entering in wide is Swanson. Swanson loses his edges. He kind of deceives the goalie when he does that little submarine move like that. He's already got a start on that kayak celebration if it slid past the goalie. That was an interesting little sequence.
Do they still do those? I remember we had a team that we had a lot of good celebrations. A lot of riding the
scooter
and somersaults. They don't do that anymore, do they?
It's interesting. The guy that does the hockey hair video, he created Game On, and it's got some videos every now and then. They did one this week, which was the dance-off. I think it was a celly-off between Burnsville boys and girls varsity. Here comes Juding, enters his own 2-on-1 with Speltz. A little bit too far for him, and the pass doesn't quite connect, but a good little 2-on-1 rush. Now we're going the other way, so Griffin is, in fact, playing. He's just out now with a different line. And, oh, my goodness, what a centering pass. And trying to figure out who he was connected to there, but nonetheless, the shot doesn't connect. Matt, I hate to be a whiner, but they better not wear red tomorrow. I can't make out the numbers. I see the player, and I just can't make out the numbers when they're moving.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Dark on dark is not a good scheme.
But I tell you what, this is a great game here. Have some running gun here with some odd man rushes. And right there, another chance to go ahead there.
You know what, I'm really comforted to know there's no Gemini logo on that jersey, you know. Little love for my friend Chris Bonvino, who does great work. Still a lot of stitch and sew. A lot of stuff's moving to sublimated, but yeah, you don't see that from Gemini. He'd look and say, I can't do that number. You won't be able to read it on the black on red.
He's got a lot of experience, though, with that, doesn't he?
Oh, he does great work. I've also toured this year the K1 factory up in Cloquet, and they do a great job, but the industry is really moving and people want those more complex designs. It's gone sublimated, so less of this traditional stuff. Back to the action here. Glove saved by Bell. Face-off coming over to his right. That reminds me, I'm gonna show you a jersey here. There was a fundraiser that did a pretty cool job on a junior jersey up in Fargo. They let kids sketch out something and from the Children's Hospital or something like that, and then they put that to press. And the type of stuff you can do with sublimated, less of a classical look than stitch and sew, and you know that's kind of some of the benefits of a modern style. Kahlberg out to the neutral zone. He skates it. Little hesitation, but we tried a rink-wide pass over to Beatty, but it got knocked down by Traxel. This one's played out to the neutral zone by the Panthers, and first one to grab it is Emmerich. His pass onto the stick of Kahlberg. Kahlberg can't quite tip this over to, I'm sorry, that's Kimmis. Bringing it up, oh geez. Schneider's trying to really push things with the pace, Matt. Do you see how quickly he's skating toward the puck carrier, trying to just rip it away from him? You know, don't be surprised if we see Schneider kind of putting the team on his back these last 11 minutes. We saw that earlier with Jensen. You know, these high-level players, sometimes they get to this point in the game, they're a little frustrated with how things are going. This one's 2-2, and he may just say, you know what, I'm going to do everything I can and see if I can just make something happen on my own. Sometimes it works, sometimes it ends up costing the team, but I think we're going to see a spirited effort the rest of the way from Schneider. 11 minutes exactly to go in this one, and down behind the end line on the forecheck is Lindholm. Lindholm working in concert with Tushy. Tushy chips this one over, and it's reeled in by Pearson. Pearson tries to break out our side. Nobody home initially, but Griffin manages to get a couple ticks on that one and push it out to the neutral zone. Backhand shot comes in from Magnuson. Quick cover by our goaltender Johnson.
Don't see a lot of backhands from the blue line. I don't know if it's a lost art or not, but
you don't see a lot of backhands, period. It's very difficult to really muster. It's just, you know, it's the anatomy. You just can't quite get a lot of, you know, a lot of pressure on the shot when you go to shoot that way. So, anyway, little Dave Terwilliger sighting in the house. Matt, you see him down there?
Right.
Dave's the longtime Edina assistant. And I tell everybody that I see, his first coaching foray. Do you remember when that was?
Oh, yeah, Bantam Bees.
That was our Bantam team. We were on a Bantam team, 3 players NHL drafted, 4 NCAA Division I players, 1 NHL player, and, you know, fun memory for all. But Dave was starting his coaching career back then. So back to the action here. This is Cable. Cable with a pass out to Speltz. Speltz chips this one up ahead. Couldn't quite connect to Cashmark. And a little tick action there from Judding. They managed to gain the zone and eventually broken out to neutral and onto the stick of Gale. Gale with a shot, nice back check. Speltz, great back check there, Matt, getting all the way back and ticking the stick right as he went to fire that shot. I think if you want to play for Pankratz, I think you really have to bring it. You know, you're really skating all out, all shift. From what I've seen, you mentioned that active PK. Yeah. We saw the tide shift. They didn't have a great first period. Really spent the entire second period in the attacking zone, and now you got them, you know, back checking late in the game. Oh! Streaking in and picking up the puck was Beatty. Went to shoot, and goaltender managed to make the save, but Beatty thought he was going to put the Lakers on top 3-2 right there. Schandorf tries to get out to the neutral zone, plays it over to Levens. Levens goes down, and now we've got 2 bodies down, and takes Winter a little bit longer than the average guy to get up. He looks absolutely massive out there. Penalty upcoming.
You're right, though. I mean, I think a lot of these teams take on the personality of the coach. The coach is all about having a motor. I'm guessing he expects everybody to have a motor, and if you don't have a motor, you probably don't play. So, yeah, I mean, these guys are really going at it. They're very aggressive on their forward checks, their penalty kill. I like that style, especially in high school.
I mentioned earlier Gemini Athletic Wear owned by Chris Bonvino. Chris has a quote that I really like. He said some of the best advice he ever got was you won't be able to change the coach. And think about it. You know, you get to college and you had your coach, or you get to high school, Lord Eichel. Like, you may not see eye to eye on 100% of the things, but you're not going to change them, right? They're the coach. And, oh, nice weak side shot. This one's off the post. Big wrister there by Beatty. That's the first post we've had in 3 games today. Beatty coming off the half wall. Give and go. And, trying to catch a little Sutton to Youngblood connection there. And the puck came into his skates. Out to the neutral zone. Getting pretty exciting here. It's Jutting on the power play. Power play opportunity here for Prior Lake. Still 88 seconds to go. And Pearson gains the zone. Puck wobbles up onto the bench. We get a stoppage play. So, Matt, we've hit the midpoint of the final period. There's 8:36. We're 17-minute periods. We're just 6 seconds away from the midpoint. I often think about breaking the periods into 4 sections. You don't want to give up a goal early in a period. It, can kill the momentum, and if you can get one, that's even better. When you get to that final quarter of a period, certainly the third, there's not a lot you can do. Like, you give up a goal or you take a penalty, it's going to be really hard to offset that. There's just not enough time to do it. So we're coming up on the midpoint, and at this point, Matt, if you take a penalty, that's 2 minutes out of the 8 that are remaining that you'd be shorthanded, or a goal can, really happen late. So very interested to see what happens in this third quarter of the period, and then certainly you get below that 4-minute mark, and wow, you don't have enough time necessarily to come back from something going against you.
Right.
Here comes Traxel. Pass out in the neutral zone onto the stick of Beatty. Beatty circling through. A little bit of a evasive maneuver, but he runs into a checking Schneider, knocks him off the puck, and a little dipsy dangle from Cashmark. He goes on a guitar solo, and he's got lots of room working around the perimeter. Back to Traxel. Traxel to Cashmark, fakes the shot, and whoa, this one hits a skate boot and bounces just wide. Out to the neutral zone. Cable, first one to reel this one in. Some of those Prior Lake players are tired. They got to go off. Still 15 seconds left in the man advantage with the line change. They're actually going backward, not toward that Panther net. Down into the corner. This is Tushy. Tushy out of the corner. Plays this one out top to the blue line winner. One-timer goes just wide of the mark from Cable. Cable's just a junior. He's playing a huge role on this team, and easy to see why coaches like him. Nice shot block there, and fires this puck out to the neutral zone. 7 minutes to go. Both teams full strength. And Matt, what are your thoughts about what we're going to see the rest of the way?
Well, I look, Prior Lake's coming at them, and they're getting their shots. So, but it only takes one little mistake, an over pursuit. So this is a tough one. I mean, it could go either way.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's absolutely anybody's guess as to what happens now.
Oh, here we go.
Here comes Jutting. He's got speed through the neutral zone, and nobody can stop him speed-wise. Matt, it's unbelievable. It's reminiscent of those videos when they were showing instructional videos of Jack Eichel. He's
explosion.
He's got that speed, and everybody else is just moving at a lower gear. And it didn't look like he had a leg up on these guys. Next thing you know, he's past both of them.
That's amazing. You can't underestimate the importance of explosive power in skating.
So he wears the Jutting name. That's a big prominent name back in our era from Richfield, and the Twins were the third and fourth to come through, and there were 2 before. Mike Thomas had a nickname for the 4 Jutting brothers.
Well, the son here doesn't belong in that category, does he? Oh,
yeah,
nice.
so Mike Thomas was kind of a crusty old veteran coach, and players loved him. But he had nicknames, and when the Twins came through, he called them Lightning 3 and 4, and I think it was that the mocking nickname for the first one was Lightning. He wanted him to be faster, felt he was a big slow player, and then the second one was Lightning 2. So then the Twins came up, and it was Lightning 3 and 4, and big rugged wingers. And I don't know whose son he is. I lived away for 25 years. I'm not sure who's who, but one of the Juttings, I know his dad was part of that family, and yeah, this boy can fly.
Yeah, he's got wheels. They're not the same mold. Oh, the Jutting brothers were really good though at Richfield. They're good players. They just weren't super fast.
They went to the state tournament. They had Mark Johnson was an undersized center, and Trent Mikowski was just a rugged bruiser Carl Rocky type defender. Tim Potter, great player, played at Mankato, and I love those teams. Damian Rhodes was really the straw that stirs the drinks, and he's actually going to be mentioned in this next interview coming up from Ben Hankinson. But yeah, the Juttings were a big part of that, and this player he's going to be known for his wheels. He can flat out fly. We saw evidence of it right there. We're down to 5.5 minutes to go in this one. Bringing it out of the zone is Kimmis. Kimmis out to the neutral, but it's stolen away. Very nice play there by Gale. He throws this one the length of the ice, and out comes some fresh legs for the Panthers. They complete a line change. A little confusion. Let's make sure they've got 5 players out there. Right now it's just 4, and eventually they find, there were 4, then there were 6, then there were 5, and they were cautious not to get a too many men penalty. Here comes 23 is Connick. Connick working through the neutral zone and slaps this one, trying to get it in deep, and hits the leg pad of Traxel. Little D-to-D pass over to Cable. Cable, Traxel. Traxel up on the near wall to Colbert. Colbert gains his own, lofts this one in, and oh, you could see what they were trying there. He tried a lofted pass over the defenseman, see if Kimmis could skate under it. Just kind of ran out of room. It made it down to the end line. Out to the neutral zone. Here comes Pearson. Pearson throws this one ahead. This one's chipped out, and puck's bobbling off the glass a couple times, and everybody's got to tag up for Prior Lake. That gives Smith a little time to operate. Stretch pass doesn't connect. He was looking for Schneider. It's interesting, Matt. Looks like they're trying to spring Schneider. I understand why. But the longer that passing lane gets, the harder it is to get one to connect.
Without a doubt. Yeah, they're trying to spring him. You know what, though? I wouldn't be surprised if they do spring him. He's explosive, so shooting him through the middle there and that long pass, and eventually they're going to hit it. But the Prior Lakes D is so solid. I don't know. I don't know if you're going to be able to get through them. They're big and solid.
You know, it's an easy group to like. Traxel's very, very good senior defender. Cable Jr. love his game. First time, I saw Prior Lake. I'll be honest, man. I try to keep a positive spin. Youth sports, high school sports. I saw Prior Lake play one game last year. I think in hindsight, it wasn't a very good game for them. They got run out of the building by Holy Family early, and it was a sectional game, and I saw them probably on what wasn't their best night. So they've looked awfully good thus far. They were down 2-0 early, but really since that time, they've had the better of the gameplay, and very impressed by what we've seen from the Lakers. Conversely, I know things are still settling in, a lot of injuries to deal with at Lakeville, but you know what? They're just one bounce away from taking the lead and maybe winning this game. It's 2-2. Puck is stolen by Magnuson. Magnuson gets this one across the blue line, works to his forehand, fires a shot. This one bobbles just wide. He's the first one to arrive on the scene down at the end wall, and he fights a battle now, a little corner board battle, and out to the neutral zone come the Panthers. In front of the benches, they're trying to hit Connick, and he got a little offside there, but you can see they're recognizing they've not had the benefit of zone time. They're trying to stretch things vertically and see if they can create a little scoring chance on a rush.
Well, they got to create something. They're so conservative, so structured in the defensive zone, and I have no problem with that. But right now, they need to generate something. The shots just aren't coming right now.
Yeah, 30-17 is the shot count. Wasn't that pronounced earlier, and really that second period for long stretches, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 minutes, it was all Prior Lake out of the 17-minute period. Shot from the point doesn't come as he fans on it. And nobody can get there. It's going to look like a curling match there where everybody's a scrubbing, but nobody's hitting it.
Right.
Out to Connick at the neutral zone. Little chip, but the puck is bouncy, and now it's played down to the end line by Speltz. First one to arrive is Pearson. Counter move brings this one up to Connick, and you can see that high breakout wing position. There's no question we've seen a visible adjustment here really in the last 5 minutes, really trying to create some separation with layering and springing it up ice rather than leaving the zone. And
there's no question they're stretching that ice. They changed it up a little bit. They're pulling that wing high. It forces those Ds back, and it usually gives you a little bit of a momentum breaking it out.
I love the off wing high. We're going to see a player in the next game, Jet Jungles. I love seeing that off wing just take off and firing that puck out and let them go chase it down.
I do too, but I like to see it adjusted during the game. You know what I mean? Where it stays low, and then out of the blue, it's high for a while, and then it comes back, and it confuses Ds. And
well, it confuses me, and that's why I do it. I wish they wouldn't shift it up because I'm trying to explain what's going on, and I do a poor job. But yeah, I know what you mean. You're changing gears. Whether it's the player with the puck or whether it's the coach with the decision, that's a very effective tool. Is just timing the changes can work very well.
As soon as everybody's fast, then the next thing you do is change speeds. At first you just want to be the fastest guy, and then after everybody gets fast, you got to start changing speeds, and that really screws up defense. Being able to slow down, speed back up.
So, Matt, when we wrap up this one, I want you to stick around for just a minute, maybe nominate some players. At the end of all this, I'm going to name kind of a broadcasting team, all-tournament team. Maybe just throw out some nominees, a couple players off of both teams that caught your eye, and, assembling a list here that I'll really maybe crystallize at the end of Saturday and maybe post some type of broadcasting all-tournament team. So you got that to look forward to in the post game here. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go. It's a tie game, and it's a good one here from Dakota and Prior Lake. Bringing it through the neutral zone is Tushy. Tushy coming in wide, circling behind the goal. He goes on a guitar solo, bringing it out wide. Now he's out to the neutral zone, loses the puck. He goes down and gets his hand on it. What a huge mitt. That was a huge mitt. If he didn't tick that puck away, it was off to the races, 3-on-1 for the boys in red.
That was a great play to stop that. You're right. It would have been a 3-on-1 odd man rush, and heck, that's all we practiced like growing up is 3-man odd man rushes, and you got a shot every time, otherwise you got in trouble. You never not get a good shot on a 3-on-1.
Yeah, so another one, you're talking about our coaches. So you probably had Dick Blueston for the Bantam A team. Dick's in the house as well. He's still a volunteer assistant with Edina High School.
Still coaching, huh?
20, I don't know how many years. He's been with high school forever. And, he's the youngest 70-whatever-year-old guy. You talk to him, it's no different than talking to him 30 years ago when he was, a 40-whatever-year-old man. So, anyway, back to the game. We got a great one here. Let's focus on this. We got 100 seconds to go in regulation. I'm sure we'd see an overtime period. I don't know that there'd be anything after that. It would probably just end tied. Breaking it out by skating it out is Smith, and the little danger play there, but a couple passes connect. They get it to Connick, and they've entered the zone. They lost the puck, however, and little D-to-D pass, and they get it over onto the stick of Traxel. Traxel bringing this one behind the goal over to Emmerich. Emmerich reels it in and chips this one over to Traxel. Traxel trying to get it back to Emmerich, but a hounding forecheck here from Schneider. Schneider's down low for the Panthers. 65 seconds to go in regulation. Still 2-2. No goals this period. It's been a great back and forth battle. Lakeville North had a 2-0 lead. Prior Lake came back and tied it up. No goals since then. This one's down for an icing call with 53 to go. So, Matt, both teams have their timeout at their disposal. This is the time when you wonder if somebody might use a timeout, maybe get some rest for some of their top players, maybe coach them up a little bit, or you could kind of hold on and wait till the overtime. Certainly if there were a penalty called, if there's an upcoming overtime, that could also be a titanic game changer. Way back to the point to Magnuson. Seems like there's a Magnuson that plays D on every team I announce this year. Is there any Magnusons playing forward? There's one at Cretin, and there's another Magnuson. I don't know. Why is that somebody? Magnuson chips this one out, and it's batted down with a jump ball, played nicely by Beatty, and he comes through the neutral zone, gaining the blue line, trying to cut over to his forehand, but he lost the puck to Pearson. Pearson to Anello. Nice seeing Anello, his first game back after the injury. He's out there to close the game. Doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish, and coach is with the confidence to put Anello out here right at the end of the game. Played over to Cable. Cable with a big shot. This one's a glove. That one was laser, major laser going to the top corner and denied by flashing the leather there. It's Johnson with a big save.
Cable likes to take a lot of slappers, and he's got a big shot. That was very old school there. It was a big shot, though. Good glove save.
I always felt my hardest shot was a slap shot on stride, and like you mentioned, you just don't see that so much anymore with the big windup on stride. Nobody scored more goals off their slap shot than Gretzky.
Oh, yeah.
He loved the slap shot.
Matter of fact, 1988, I went to the Met Center to watch, I believe it was Edmonton, and he took a slap shot on a breakaway. Scored, too.
Yeah, he had a way of shooting when the goalies weren't ready for the shot. And the slap shot's not the fastest release, but, he would shoot, and it probably went in on the ice, if I'm not mistaken. He loved that slap shot on the ice. But back to the action with 10 seconds to go. It looks like we're looking at overtime, folks, unless Prior Lake can get a late one here. It's going to do it. So I don't know about the format. Let's see if there's anything in the program. I don't think this one would have anything after the overtime.
Oh.
Yeah, so they just announced that there'd be a quick rest followed by an overtime session. That overtime session is probably all we get. Some of these tournaments, the winners advance. Not this one. All the schedules are set. And the winner of this, doesn't move to the winner's bracket, loser to losers. It's still going to play the same opponents tomorrow. So I think what we're dealing with here is a game that could conceivably end tied should these 8 minutes be tied. Check out Tony scraping the ice.
Oh, is that Tony?
Yeah, it's
That's
Tony.
what I was wondering if that was him. I like that, though, getting out there and getting rid of that snow in front of the boxes. that can change a game. That extra snow really can.
He does it all. He does it all. In case you didn't watch, he was the guest between periods of the second game today. That one's going to re-air a little bit later this week. Coming up in the last game, our guest between period 1 and 2 is NHL player agent Ben Hankinson. And between period 2 and 3, Edina's Mike Vorlicke and Moorhead's Luke Grammer, both college committed defensemen for Moorhead and Edina. So, Matt, any thoughts here? I mean, I still think it's a coin toss. I think this is anybody's ball game. Right now, I'd say it's a third, a third, a third. 1/3 chance of a tie, 1/3 chance for either team winning. I just see it really being wide open.
I'm going to tilt it toward Prior Lake. I think they have the momentum. They're getting the better chances, the better shots. As you can see, they're out shooting them. But I just feel like they have the momentum.
Well, you're here because you know more about this than I do. So you're the one. I'm going to go with that then. We're gonna say it's leaning Prior Lake's way, but at the same time, it's just one bounce of the puck. You're right. Around the state, Apple Valley 6, Roseville 1. Big news. Matt lives in Apple Valley. Brainerd 5-1 over Bemidji. I'm on Minnesota Hockey Hub.
What was that Apple Valley score again?
6-1 over Roseville.
Nice. That's their first one of the year. Makes them 1-7.
Benilde 5-3 over Holy Family. Benilde, they're very young, and I think they could easily be a candidate. Benilde, Hill Murray, these are some of the teams I think could be the top teams next year. I think in the Twin Cities, it's really a private school story when we look a year out. Maybe Eden Prairie, they're with them. Just don't see the public schools like Edina Minnetonka this year. What else do we have? 6-3 Chaska over Eden Prairie. That was here. Cretin-Durham Hall 3 over Centennial 2. That's from the Schwann Cup. Let's see, what else do we have? St. Louis Park and Eastview are playing as we speak. Kitson Central over Waseca, 4-3. Maple Grove, 4-2 over Lakeville South. Oh. Novak, former Apple Valley player, suiting up for Lakeville South. Good player in that system.
Sure is.
7-1, Hopkins over Laverne. Laverne's really struggling this year. Minnetonka 1-1 with Cloquet. In progress. This could be old. Sometimes it doesn't get updated. Maybe it was 14-1. Who knows? But last time I checked, it was 1-1. And 2-2. Prior Lake, Lakeville North. That's the one you're watching right here on Youth Hockey Hub. So, Matt, we've had a little bit of an intermission. We're coming right back now with the. Oh, look at this. We had Shot Bell was down in his goal. He was already in the goal, and then he realized switching that. One of the reasons why you get a lot more goals in overtime. NHL is a great example when they go to the 3-on-3. The goalie switch ends. You're defending the goal further from your bench. That can increase the scoring. We're not going to play 3-on-3. We're going to play 5-on-5, but we're going to switch ends. Puck is dropped, and we are at it here in the fourth period. Speltz throws this one down, played by Johnson. Johnson leaves this for the defender, DuPont. DuPont rings this one over in front of the benches, and nice pass here onto the stick of Schneider. Schneider enters the zone 2-on-3, and a little dipsy dangle. There's that backhand that you talk about off the stick of Smith. Interesting on that right side, it's back to Griffin. We've used Griffin and Connick interchangeably here on that right side. As the game's worn on, it's anybody's guess as to who's the right wing out there with Smith and Schneider. Icing the call. Free hockey. Wow. $10 gets you in the door. You can watch free online, but now we got free hockey for everybody. Justin's not getting paid anymore to be here. Matt's not getting paid anymore to be here. The popcorn maker's not getting paid anymore to be here. Free hockey.
Doesn't get any better than that, does it?
Stepping into the face-off circle is Kimmis. He wins the draw, but nobody steps up from Prior Lake to pick up the puck, and going to be a breakout opportunity here for Connick.
Here we go.
They get it out to the neutral zone, and picking it up is Ennebeck. Ennebeck, he hasn't played a lot today. He's coming back from that separated shoulder surgery. And good to see Jake Ennebeck out here. Connick with a shot. Oh, no! It was a save, but he had no idea where the puck was going, and it almost came back down in the net. Actually, when Edina lost to Duluth East last year in the state tournament, that's one of the goals that kind of happened like that. Made the initial save, and usually it doesn't go in, but he lost sight of the rebound and almost got up over his shoulder. Out to the neutral zone, playing over in our direction. This is Munson. Munson with a nice little slick counter move. He's a smooth, steady defenseman back there on the left point for the Panthers. Played down into the corner. This is Davidson. Davidson leaves it for Munson. Munson with his head up, tries to find a breakout pass, chooses the safe option and gets it to Connick. Connick tips this one ahead to Anello and sweeping in to pick this one up. I think that's Connick again, right? And Prior Lake, you know, they've really not had a whole lot of success getting the puck on their stick ever since we hit the overtime 2 minutes ago. Matt, a lot different than that second period.
Well, I was wrong. which isn't unusual, so.
I like that. You know, the worst thing a politician could do a few years ago was the flip-flop, right? I thought this, then I thought that. And, you know, somebody's you know, changing their mind frequently. And there's an economist. Those guys are theoretical. And I can't remember if it was John Maynard Keynes or, you know, Kenneth Galbraith, whoever. One of these old economists, somebody was on him because he changed his theory. He goes, well, when I'm wrong, I change my mind. What do you do? Like, you know, it's so true. Like, sometimes you think something and then you're wrong. Okay, right. Change my mind. 6 minutes to go in the overtime session. Fourth period action here. A little scrum along the wall and pinching up against the boards is DuPont. DuPont, puck snakes out to Green. Green walks it in, tries a couple cracks at it. Oh, my goodness, man, I can't believe that one didn't go in. Swanson on the spot. I think he got a stick on it. Huge save by Johnson.
It's a wonderful play by Green. He spun right out of there and came in solo.
Yeah.
Got a good quality shot there.
Riding solo. So, you know, we've been here a long time. We've played the full loop. We're back to Blind Melon. I heard Blind Melon in the first game today. And
you don't hear a lot of Blind Melon nowadays.
Oh, you know, this is...
I think it's considered classic now, isn't it?
Dating ourselves here. Blind Melon, for those people that are not my age, you know, short-lived because Shannon Hoon died of a heroin overdose, so they didn't have a great body of work. But that was, what was that? That was No Rain and the Bumblebee Girl with the video.
Right.
And anyway, Tones of Home, underrated song by Blind Melon. Tones of Home, big Tones of Home fan. Out to the neutral zone. This is Schneider, gains the run line, dumps it down, and first one to arrive is Shotbello, leaves it for the defenders. They break it out over to Cashmark, and this one's played out to the neutral zone. A little bit too far, outstretched stick of DuPont. Turning it over, and oh, big shot there from Judding, and a couple of cracks at it. Judding almost sent everybody home. Here comes Schneider the other direction. These two are fun to watch. Schneider, little back-to-back wall-to-wall action here between the two star seniors for each team. These are the high-powered forwards that, you know, you start leaning on somebody, those are the guys they turn to. Scrum along the wall and three white jerseys. You got a feeling they're going to come out with the puck. They do. And here's Cable. Cable plays it to Traxel. Traxel bring it up our direction to Cashmark. Cashmark chips it ahead up to Judding. And little spin move, playing this one back into the slot, stolen by Gale, and makes a nice pass to Schneider. I don't know if he's got any wheels left, Matt. He's been out there a long time.
He seems a little tired right now.
Yeah, oh no, the puck is in the slot. The goaltender thought he had the cover, and the players in red, the Panthers just figured, why don't we just crash and start swatting at it? And the puck went just to the side of the goal mouth.
Between the third period of the St. Thomas game and this game, I think I've seen the net come off the moorings probably 30, 40 times. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's happening a lot. I suppose if you crash the net, it's good.
Back to the point, fanning on the wrister, looking for the big shot was Davidson, but he fanned when he went to release it. This one's chipped out, kept in at the point by Davidson. So, Matt, we just heard Blind Melon.
Yep.
Earlier we heard Avicii.
Okay.
Then that was Sublime.
Sublime.
So
big fan.
Yeah, so like I don't know if Tony or whoever put this playlist together. So what? Amy Winehouse is next, and Avicii, and like it's like whoever died of
probably Stone Temple Pilots coming up pretty soon.
Like, yeah, and then we're gonna go old school, play some Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin. Like, I want you to listen. That was Eminem. I was gonna say I want you to listen to see when the next song is played by a living artist, and then we had Eminem. So anyway, back to the action here. Big wrister coming the other direction off the stick of Judding. I'm sorry, that's not Judding. That's Lindholm, 18, not 19. Pinned down along the wall on the forecheck. Tushing and Green trying to pull this one out. Eventually it comes out onto the Panther stick, and they break it out over near side. This is Ennebeck. Ennebeck's pass doesn't quite connect, and out to the neutral zone. Winds up Magnuson, chips it ahead, dumped in by Swanson.
Oh, big hit.
Bodies are flying, and somebody's going to at some point go play the puck, and we'll see what happens. That's one thing, Matt. You know, you pick up the physicality. Somebody's got to go play the puck. Anello! Oh, what a poetic. That would have been nice. His first game of the year. If he could have just sent everybody home, that would have been good to see. You know, just for the kid. I'm not picking sides here. I'm just saying, you get a kid with a storyline like that, first game back. That would be like a Mario Lemieux return. It seemed like the longer he held out, the better the first game was.
Right.
He had every malady. Oh, they got a busted twig down in the corner, and got a knee hockey stick for the lucky recipient. This one played out onto the stick of Annebeck. Annebeck brings it in wide, surveys the situation, fights around the corner, working against Cable. Centering pass doesn't quite connect, and now we have it down track, so let's push the puck over. Oh, point-blank shot. That's going to do it, folks. Griffin, top corner, major laser, tickling the twine, and Lakeville North wins. They win 3-2 on a goal, his second of the game by Shane Griffin.
Wonderful pass there. Saw him hit him right in stride. Can't make a better pass. Right in the slot. And that's the end.
So, Matt, I'm going to listen to see who got the assist on that one.
His second of the game, scored by number 25, Shane Griffin. Assist to number 2, Cole Pearson, and number 8, Caden Smith.
So it's Smith and Pearson on the assist. That's how it's going to end. Lakeville North scored the first two. They led 2-0 after one period. Second period was not good from the Panthers' standpoint. It was all Prior Lake. They leveled the score, dominated the zone time, really had a great second period and squared it up at 2-2. Third period, no scoring. We go to overtime. Chances both ways, but that's how it's going to end on a goal by senior Shane Griffin. He entered the season with high expectations, got hurt initially, only had a goal entering today. 2 and 3 on the season. We're going to remember each and every one of them, and he wins it in overtime for the Panthers.
They weren't just goals, too. They were good goals. So, yeah, I mean, I think if you have to look for a player of the game, that's the guy you got to go to. 2 out of 3.
Yeah, so, you know, when this is all said and done, I will put together a little all-tournament mention. So nominate some guys for me. So Griffin, you know, that's one. What about, you know, both rosters, maybe a couple players you saw that you liked today?
Cashmark looked great. He had a good game. Had a goal and an assist. Smith obviously had a couple of assists. That was pretty good. The goaltending for the Panthers was fantastic. 33 shots, only let in 2. That's better than his average.
Johnson, yep.
Yeah, better than his average, I would say. And he made some great saves, too. So, I mean, Lakers not just had 33 shots, had a lot of slot shots. And not all shots are created equal, as we know. And, yeah, he had a great game, so I'd put him right up there.
And then what about the Prior Lake? You know,
I love these Ds. They didn't get any points, but you know what? Back in the olden days, we were talking about let's play hockey. Your mom writes an article. She gets everybody's name in there. And great defense by, you know, whoever who had no points, of course. But, I mean, that combo there was fantastic. Cable, fantastic.
Cable,
game.
Traxel.
Yeah, Traxel. Both of those guys, fantastic.
Yeah, well, you're always, like, you're so biased. You're always going to pick the tall guy. Cable's a little taller. That's your guy. Winter. Yeah, Winter might be eye to eye with you. I don't know. He's a pretty big guy.
He's got to be up around
he
the 6'6".
He looks about 6'6". Yeah,
very rangy. Good skater too. Good skater.
Yeah, so that, you know, we've got center ice right now. Tony talking to Shane Griffin. So that's the Youth Hockey Hub Player of the Game. I want to thank everybody for watching. We've got a great nightcap in store for you. These two teams come back tomorrow. It's going to be Prior Lake with the first game against Chaska, and it's a new look Chaska. They came to the tournament 4-5, but blew out Eden Prairie today 6-3. Chaska now 5-5 on the season. Following that up is Lakeville North against Stillwater. Stillwater, good performance, lost 4-3 today to St. Thomas. Color commentators for those two. Tomorrow, it is Greg Erickson from the Chaska Broadcast Network on Game 1. And joining me in the booth Game 2 is Wilson Housley. Those are the two announcers we had today for Games 1 and 2. They'll be back for tomorrow, Game 1 and 2. Matt Henches joining me in the booth. He's going to do the last game, Edina versus Moorhead. We're going to take about a 15, 20-minute break here. We'll be back with the last game of the day. So, Matt, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Well, thanks for having me, first of all, and I just say it was a treat because you treated me to a fantastic game, and hopefully we'll have one of those in the next one. But, yeah, come back because we got a great one coming up here. Heck, if you can even drive down here, seeing this stuff is live is even more fun. I mean, this is great.
Best way to see it is live, and if you can't make it, then it's great that it's free to watch on Youth Hockey Hub. So I want to thank everybody for being a part of today's game. We'll be back in just a little bit with the nightcap. And our producer doing a great job, as always, is Justin. See you, everybody.